You've probably heard people say you should put others first, or that focusing on yourself is selfish. But what if the real key to living a better life is to always think about yourself first? Not in a selfish way, but in a way that helps you grow, feel stronger, and make better choices every day. This isn't about ignoring others or being selfish. It's about learning how to care for yourself properly so you can be your best for everything life asks of you. This guide is going to take you step by step through simple but powerful ideas that you can start using right now. You'll learn how to build routines that boost your energy and focus, how to protect your peace by saying no, and how to make decisions that put you in control. We'll talk about how to change the way you think about yourself and your challenges, and why tracking your progress honestly will help you move forward faster. Every chapter is designed to help you take clear action and change your daily habits so that you become more resilient, confident, and calm. You'll discover how to break free from negative influences, fuel your body the right way, and handle failure without losing hope. More than anything, you'll see how committing fully to yourself and your growth, without guilt or doubt, can unlock a life where you feel stronger and more alive. If you're ready to stop feeling stuck or overwhelmed and start building a life that truly works for you, this is the place to begin. The steps are practical, the ideas are straightforward, and the results depend on you showing up each day. Stick with this guide, apply what you learn, and watch how your mindset, your habits, and your entire life begin to shift. Your best self is waiting. Let's get started. Chapter 1. Prioritize yourself fully before giving to anyone else. If you want to live a stronger life, a clearer life, a life that brings peace instead of confusion, then you have to start by putting yourself first. This isn't about selfishness, it's about responsibility. You can't give to others what you don't give to yourself. You can't lead others while you're constantly running on empty. You can't help anyone when your own life feels neglected, drained, or uncentered. Prioritizing yourself is the foundation of becoming someone who can offer something real to the world. Most people are taught from an early age that putting others first is a virtue, that to serve is noble, that to sacrifice your own needs is the sign of a good person. And while helping others can be meaningful, it becomes a trap when it's done at the expense of your own mental health, emotional stability, or physical strength. People end up giving so much of themselves away that there's nothing left to hold together. They become bitter, tired, and lost. Then wonder why life feels heavy and unrewarding. When you don't prioritize yourself, you start to depend on others to make you feel okay. You expect the world to notice your effort, reward your pain, and validate your struggle. But the world doesn't work that way. The world respects people who respect themselves, and that begins by treating your own time, energy, peace, and growth as sacred. You don't need permission to take care of yourself. You don't need to wait until you're burned out to start valuing your own life. You don't need to feel guilty for choosing yourself first. In fact, doing so is often the most generous thing you can do, because when you're centered and strong, everything you offer others is real and not forced. You're not pretending to be okay. You're not pouring from an empty cup. You're standing on solid ground, offering help from a place of clarity and power. The first step is to pay attention to how you treat your time. Look at your calendar, your daily habits, your conversations, your commitments. Ask yourself, are these things supporting me? Are these choices moving me forward? Am I a liquid in my own life? If the answer is no, then it's time to make changes. Not later, now, because time won't stop. The days won't slow down. If you keep waiting for the right moment to take care of yourself, you'll keep waking up years from now, feeling behind and unfulfilled. It begins with something simple. Wake up each day and decide, firmly and without apology, that you will not abandon yourself. You won't say yes to things that exhaust you. You won't keep relationships that deplete you. You won't chase people who don't value your presence. You won't keep putting off your goals, your growth, your well-being for another day. This day is the only one you have, and you are the only person who can claim it for yourself. This mindset must show up in your decisions. If someone asks you to do something that doesn't align with your priorities, it's okay to say no. You don't owe anyone an explanation for protecting your peace. If a situation drains you repeatedly, even if it once meant something to you, it's okay to walk away. Nothing that asks you to betray yourself is worth holding on to. If your schedule is full but your spirit is empty, cancel something. Make space to breathe, think, and just be. Putting yourself first also means investing in your own growth. Not just thinking about it, but acting on it. Learn new skills, feed your mind with meaningful knowledge. Exercise your body with care and discipline. Choose foods that energize you. Get rest. Journal your thoughts. Heal what hurt. Build habits that move you forward every single day, even if the progress feels slow. When you make consistent decisions that reflect your worth, you begin to feel your life shift. You begin to experience the power of choosing yourself in every moment. People around you may not understand at first. They may resist your boundaries, criticize your choices, or even pull away. That's okay. Not everyone is meant to walk every part of your path with you. Your job isn't to be understood by everyone. Your job is to understand yourself and act in a way that honors that understanding. If someone truly respects you, they'll respect your growth, even if it changes how they relate to you. Emotional strength grows when you stop trying to please everyone and start showing up for yourself. You don't need to be liked by everyone. You don't need to meet other people's expectations at the cost of your own peace. You are not responsible for how others feel about your choices when those choices are made from a place of clarity and self-respect. You are responsible for your own life, and no one else can live it for you. Prioritizing yourself is also about learning to listen to your inner voice. The one that tells you when something feels wrong, the one that quietly nudges you toward rest, toward clarity, toward honesty. Most people ignore that voice because they're too busy performing for others. But the truth is, the more you ignore yourself, the louder the world becomes. And the louder the world becomes, the more lost you feel inside. If you want to find yourself again, silence the noise and come back home to who you are. There will be moments when choosing yourself feels uncomfortable. When guilt shows up. When old habits try to pull you back. When people question your new boundaries. But this discomfort is not a reason to stop. It's a sign that you're doing something different, something right. Growth is not painless. But neither is staying stuck. At least with growth, the pain leads to something better, something stronger, something you own. You are not here to live a life of quiet exhaustion. You are not here to constantly prove your worth by overgiving. You are here to live with clarity, intention, and strength. And that begins by choosing yourself every single day, even in the smallest ways. Wake up and check in with your body. Ask yourself what you need today. Schedule time for your goals before filling your calendar with favors. Treat your thoughts with kindness. Speak to yourself like someone worth listening to. Because you are. The discipline of self-prioritization builds over time. It's not a one-time choice. It's a lifestyle. You practice it daily. You refine it. You learn from the days you slip. You adjust without judgment. And slowly, it becomes who you are. Someone grounded, focused, and fully alive. The world notices people like that, not because they shout the loudest, but because their presence feels real. Because they show up with energy that's whole, not borrowed. Remember this. No one is coming to live your life for you. No one can feel your emotions. No one can do your healing. No one can give you back the time you lose. by neglecting yourself. You are responsible for how your life feels, and that means you are also capable of changing it. One decision at a time, one boundary at a time, one day at a time. Choose yourself, not once, always. Every time you show up for yourself, your life becomes more aligned. You start noticing what feels right. You stop tolerating what drains you. You begin to feel stronger, more certain, more whole. Not because everything around you is perfect, but because you're no longer abandoning the person who lives inside your skin. You're no longer waiting to be rescued. You've become the person who saves yourself. When you make yourself a priority, your energy changes. You stop running on guilt and start running on clarity. You stop seeking approval and start building self-trust. You stop surviving and start living. That's the shift that changes everything. Not overnight, but steadily, powerfully, permanently. Start small if you need to. Block out 10 minutes a day for quiet. Write down one thing you're grateful for. Decline one request that feels heavy. Do one task that matters to you and no one else. Build momentum and watch how quickly your life begins to feel more like yours. Choosing yourself isn't selfish, it's essential. It's the one thing that gives everything else in your life a chance to grow. When you choose yourself, you teach others how to treat you. When you choose yourself, you model strength and clarity. When you choose yourself, you live a life that actually feels good, not just one that looks good from the outside. You matter, your peace matters, your goals matter, your energy matters. Protect it, respect it, build it, and never again put yourself at the bottom of your own list. You deserve to be the foundation, not the leftover. You deserve a life where you are seen, heard, valued, and that begins with how you see, hear, and value yourself. You don't need anyone to agree with your priorities. You just need the courage to live by them. Stand tall in that choice, and know that every time you choose yourself, the path ahead becomes clearer. You stop wandering through life hoping to feel okay. You start walking through life with purpose, direction, and peace. This is the moment to begin. No more delay, no more excuses, no more apologizing for wanting a better life. Choose yourself now, fully, without hesitation, without guilt, because when you do, you unlock the strength that's been waiting inside you all along, and that strength will carry you forward, not just today, but for the rest of your life. Chapter 2. Build a strong morning routine that fuels your mind. Your morning determines your direction. It decides whether your day begins with power or passiveness. Most people roll out of bed, grab their phone, scroll through meaningless noise, and let the outside world shape their internal state before they've even taken a breath for themselves. Then they wonder why they feel anxious, tired, or lost before the day even starts. If you want to live a focused life, you need to build a focused morning. If you want to feel calm and prepared, you must start by creating calm and preparation in the first hour of your day. That first hour is not just a routine. It's your foundation. It's the time you reclaim control before the world begins asking for your attention. Start by deciding that the morning belongs to you. Before anyone needs you, before messages appear, before responsibilities kick in. That is your time. Not for noise, not for distraction, but for clarity. Your morning doesn't need to be long or complicated, but it needs to be intentional. Because how you show up in the first hour will echo through every decision that follows. The best way to take ownership of your morning is to start with stillness. Wake up with awareness. Open your eyes and breathe. Not shallow, half-awake breathing. Real breathing. Deep, full, focused. You're not just waking your body, you're preparing your mind. Give yourself a few minutes in silence. No notifications, no conversations, just a quiet space to exist. This quiet is rare and it is powerful. You'll hear thoughts that usually get buried. You'll feel things you often ignore. That space is where self-control begins. Next, move your body. Not because it's trendy, not because someone said you should, but because movement clears the mind. It resets your emotion. It activates the part of you that's meant to lead the day, not just react to it. Whether it's stretching, walking, breathing deeply through some light movement, it doesn't matter what it looks like. What matters is that you move with intention, not rushing, not pushing, but waking yourself up physically, mentally, and emotionally. After movement, feed your mind. Not with junk, not with gossip, not with fear-inducing news. Feed it with something that strengthens your thinking. This could be a short passage from a book that makes you feel grounded, a reminder of your values, a principle you want to live by, a challenge you want to overcome, a quote that speaks to your discipline or purpose. Just one piece of truth is enough to interrupt the patterns that keep you stuck. You don't need hours of reading. You need one of clarity that gives your day direction. Now shift to writing. Grab a pen and take it to the page. You don't need to be a writer. You just need to be honest. Write what you feel. Write what you fear. Write what you want to change. Don't judge the word. This is not about perfection. It's about presence. If your mind is cluttered, writing will help clear it. If your emotions are heavy, writing will help name them. If your goals feel distant, writing will remind you where you're headed. Clarity comes through expression, not overthinking. Include a few minutes to visualize your day. Close your eyes and picture yourself handling challenges calmly. See yourself moving through conversations with patience. Feel yourself completing the work that matters. Let your brain experience the win before it happens. This isn't pretending, it's programming. You're setting the tone, not leaving it to chance. You're training your mind to act with control instead of reacting with stress. Now, ask yourself this. What is the one thing you must do today to feel proud? Not 10 things, not everything, just one. If you choose it in the morning, you'll stop wasting energy throughout the day, wondering where to start. Pick that one thing. Commit to it. Write it down. That's your anchor. No matter how the rest of the day unfolds, if you finish that one thing, you moved forward. Before you finish your morning routine, protect your mind from outside influence. Don't check social media before you've checked in with yourself. Don't read emails before you've read your own goals. Don't let other people's opinions or emergencies invade your mental space before you've prepared your own energy. You need to hear your own voice before you let the world speak to you. Otherwise, you're just reacting, and reaction is the enemy of clarity. Building this kind of morning doesn't require perfection. It requires consistency. Even 10 minutes of silence, movement, reflection, and direction can change how your entire day feels. And when your day feels different, your life starts to shift. Not because magic happens, but because you start acting like someone who values their time. Someone who chooses to respond, not react. Someone who leads their day with purpose, instead of being pulled around by pressure. This is not about doing more, it's about doing what matters first, before the demands, before the distractions, before the world reaches in. You start by reaching into yourself. That's where energy lives. That's where purpose wakes up. That's where your best choices begin. There will be days you don't want to get up, days when the bed feels safer than the discipline. But those are the days you need your routine the most, because your feelings don't always lead you to the right actions. But your actions, when repeated with purpose, can reshape your feelings. Discipline is not about being in the mood, it's about building something real. whether or not you feel ready. You don't have to get it perfect every day, but never allow your mornings to be ruled by chaos, noise, or emptiness. You are not here to drift through the day aimlessly. You are here to move with direction. That direction starts the moment you wake. So give yourself what you need before you give anything away. Take back your mornings, own them with seriousness and simplicity. No more excuses about being too busy. You are not too busy to take care of your mind. You are not too busy to prepare yourself for life. You are not too busy to build the kind of focus that protects you from stress and distraction. You just need to decide that it matters, and if it matters, you'll make space for it. Even if it's early, even if it's quiet, even if it feels small, the smallest act of intention repeated every morning will carry more power than any burst of motivation that fades after a few hours. You don't need hype. You need habit. You don't need pressure. You need preparation. You don't need to do everything. You just need to do what aligns with who you are becoming. So tomorrow, when you wake up, start fresh. Don't reach for your phone. Reach for your breath. Don't rush into noise. Step into quiet. Don't move into reaction. Begin with choice. Give yourself what you need to feel centered. Then move into your day with strength. Because that strength will follow you into every meeting, every decision, every conversation, every moment of difficulty. It all starts in the first hour. If you win that, you change the tone of everything that follows. And when you change your mornings, you begin to change your life. One day at a time. Quietly. Intentionally. Powerfully. Chapter 3. Strengthen your focus by removing all daily distractions. Focus is not a talent. It is not something you're born with or without. It is a skill. And like any skill, it either gets trained or it gets weakened. What breaks your focus is not just the number of distractions around you, it's your relationship with them. It's how often you allow interruptions to control your attention. It's how easily you give your time away to things that offer nothing in return. If you want to strengthen your focus, you have to be ruthless about what you allow into your mental space. You have to stop treating your attention like it's cheap, because where your attention goes, your energy follows, and where your energy goes, your life begins to shape itself. Start by noticing how many times your attention is stolen in a day. Not just by loud things, but by small ones. The quick glance at your phone, the unnecessary check of your messages, the background noise that turns into foreground stress. Every time your focus breaks, you pay for it. You don't just lose time, you lose depth. You lose clarity. You lose momentum. And over time you begin to believe that it's normal to live scattered and unfocused. It's not. It's just common. But common doesn't mean acceptable. You have to create a new standard for your mental space. The standard that says not everything gets your time, not every notification deserves your attention. Not every request is urgent. Not every request is urgent. Not every distraction needs a response. The ability to stay focused is what separates people who move forward from those who stay stuck in loops of reactivity. You can't grow while being pulled in 1,000 directions. Growth happens when you direct yourself on purpose, without apology. Begin by cleaning your environment. If your space is filled with visual clutter, noise, or disorganization, your mind mirrors that chaos. You don't need a perfect setup. You need a space that encourages attention. A space that reminds you of what matters. Remove items you don't need. Turn off things that constantly interrupt your thoughts. Put your phone out of reach when you work. Shut down tabs that serve no real purpose. Don't rely on willpower to resist distraction. Remove the temptation completely. Then take control of your schedule. Block time for the tasks that require real thinking. Give yourself windows where you work deeply, without interruption. Even if it's just an hour, that hour of pure focus will produce more than an entire day spent multitasking. Because multitasking is a myth. You are not doing two things at once. You are switching between them quickly and losing quality every time you do. Focus means doing one thing with your full attention until it's complete or until your scheduled time is up. It's not about working longer. It's about working with your full presence. Use your energy wisely. Focus is not just about time. It's about energy. You have a limited amount of mental strength each day. Don't waste it on arguments, endless scrolling, or comparing yourself to others. Protect your energy like you protect your money. Don't spend it on anything that doesn't grow your vision or your well-being. Ask yourself before each activity, does this help me become who I want to be? If not, question why it's still part of your day. Create simple rules for yourself. Set times when your phone goes on airplane mode. Decide when you check messages and emails. Limit how often you switch between tasks. Build in short breaks so you can reset and come back stronger. Don't wait until you're overwhelmed to manage your focus. Train it before it gets scattered. The more you stay consistent with your own rules, the more automatic your focus becomes. And when your focus becomes automatic, you stop fighting distractions. You simply outgrow them. Eliminate background noise whenever possible. Noise might seem harmless, but it drains you. Music with lyrics, television running, constant chatter. They all take a toll on your ability to go deep into thought. Silence, even for short periods, can sharpen your concentration. If silence is hard to sit with, that's a sign your mind has been overstimulated. Learn to sit with quiet. That's where your thinking becomes clear. Another critical part of building focus is being honest about your patterns. What do you turn to when you're uncomfortable? Is it your phone, social media, random videos? These behaviors may seem harmless, but they break your ability to sit in discomfort and push through. Distraction becomes a habit, and the longer you live with it, the harder it becomes to be alone with your thoughts. To regain control, replace reactive behaviors with purposeful ones. When you feel the urge to check something, pause, ask yourself what you're avoiding. Get curious about your discomfort instead of escaping it. Focus also grows through intentional rest. If you're constantly tired, burned out, or emotionally overloaded, no routine will save your attention. You have to rest in ways that restore you, not more screen time, not more numbing. Real rest, time in nature, movement, stillness, time with people who don't drain you, time in solitude, sleep that is protected, breaks that are guilt-free. Recovery is not laziness, it is preparation. Your brain cannot perform at a high level without recharge. Respect your limits, or those limits will break your ability to stay consistent. Your focus is a reflection of your discipline. Discipline to say no. Discipline to choose depth over stimulation. Discipline to sit with one thing, even when it gets boring or difficult. The world will offer you endless ways to run from your task, your goal, your mind, but none of those paths will give you what sustained focus gives you: progress, peace, and clarity. Stop giving your time to things that don't matter. Start building the habit of finishing what you start. Start being aware of how often you reach for comfort over concentration. Start holding yourself to a higher standard. A standard that says, I choose what gets my attention. I choose when and how I engage. I don't let the noise decide for me. I decide what matters, and I act like it. This shift will change your life, not just your productivity, but your presence. You'll stop feeling scattered. You'll stop rushing. You'll begin to feel calm even in the middle of pressure. Because when your focus is strong, The outside world doesn't shake you so easily. You stay grounded in your task. You stay connected to your goal. You stay in control of your path. No one can build this for you. No app, no tool, no shortcut. You have to train your mind daily. You have to earn that clarity. You have to fight for it in a world built on distraction. But once you experience the power of true focus, you'll never want to go back, because distraction may be comfortable, but it steals your potential. Focus may be difficult, but it gives you your life back. Choose to live with attention. Choose to be unavailable to everything that pulls you away from your purpose. Choose to master your day by mastering your mind. And know that every time you stay focused, even for a short time, you're building strength that will carry you through every challenge ahead. You're becoming someone who doesn't need noise to feel alive. You're becoming someone who can sit with discomfort, hold attention, and finish what they begin. That is rare, that is powerful, and that is fully within your reach. Chapter 4. Practice saying no when it protects your peace. Peace is not found by accident. It is not something you stumble upon. It is something you protect. It is something you choose. And most of all, it is something you defend. Often with one simple but powerful word, no. Saying no is not rude. It is not selfish. It is not unkind. Saying no is an act of self-respect. It is an act of clarity. It is the boundary that keeps your energy, your time, and your mental space from being drained by things that don't align with who you are or where you're going. If you don't say no when it matters, you will say yes to things that slowly weigh you down. Not all requests are meant to be fulfilled. Not every invitation is meant to be accepted. Not every expectation is yours to carry. You do not owe your peace to anyone else's approval. People struggle to say no because they're afraid of disappointing others. They worry about being misunderstood. They don't want to come off as cold, harsh, or distant. But what's the cost of always saying yes? You become overcommitted. You lose time for your priorities. You grow resentful. You start to disconnect from your own needs. And you begin to feel like your life is controlled by everything and everyone else. That is not balance. That is not kindness. That is avoidance. And avoidance never leads to peace. When you say no, you are not rejecting a person. You are protecting your limits. You are protecting your schedule. You are protecting your values. You are choosing what you can give without breaking your own stability. That is what mature, self-respecting people do. They give with purpose, not guilt. They help when it aligns with their values, not out of fear. And when they say yes, it means something, because it comes from a full heart, not an empty obligation. The truth is, your peace is fragile. It gets broken not in big moments, but in small ones. When you say yes to one more thing you didn't have the energy for, when you agree to help even though you're overwhelmed, when you show up for someone else while quietly falling apart yourself. And it keeps happening. Not because people are trying to hurt you, but because you've trained them to believe your yes is automatic. If you never protect your peace, no one else will either. Start by becoming more aware of your patterns. Notice when you say yes out of habit instead of intention. Pay attention to the tension you feel right after agreeing to something you didn't want to do. That tension is your inner voice trying to protect you. Listen to it. Respect it. Don't silence it just to please someone else. That's how resentment grows. That's how burnout begins. That's how you lose yourself while trying to keep the peace externally when it's being shattered internally. You don't need a dramatic excuse to say no. You don't need a full explanation. Your reason can be as simple as this: I don't have the capacity for this right now. That is enough. That is complete. And if someone tries to push past it, they are not respecting you. They are trying to control you. You are not responsible for their disappointment. You are responsible for your well-being. That is the standard you must hold. not once but consistently. When you start saying no clearly without guilt, you begin to notice something powerful. The right people will respect you more, not less. Because strength is not in saying yes to everything, it's in knowing where your limits are. People trust you when they know your yes means something real. They learn that when you commit, you show up fully, because you only say yes when you mean it. Practice saying no in small ways. Decline things that don't align with your goals. Cancel plans that no longer feel right. Turn down conversations that leave you drained. Stop giving time to people who only take and never give. Cut back on commitments that stretch you too thin. Every no you speak from a place of self-awareness becomes a yes to something more important: your mental clarity, your time, your focus, your health. You will face discomfort. Some people won't like your new boundaries. They may push back. They may guilt you. They may act like you're changing for the worse. That's okay. You are changing, and it's for the better. Because peace requires change. It requires a shift in how you live, how you speak, and how you prioritize. You cannot live in harmony while constantly sacrificing yourself to keep others comfortable. You have to choose your growth even if others misunderstand it. This doesn't mean you stop helping others. It doesn't mean you close off your heart. It means you become more intentional with your yes. You make space in your life for the people and responsibilities that matter most. You stop filling your schedule with things that feel heavy and unnecessary. You create a life that breathes. A life that gives you space to think, reflect, and grow. And that life starts with your ability to say no. One of the deepest truths you will learn is that you are allowed to choose yourself. You are allowed to create space. You are allowed to step back. You are allowed to take care of your mental and emotional state first, not someday. Now, because the longer you wait to prioritize your peace, the harder it becomes to find it, and the longer you pretend that everything is okay when it's not, the more you suffer for it. So speak clearly. Say no with strength. Trust yourself to know what's right for you. The people who truly support your growth will understand. The people who only benefited from your overgiving might fall away. And that's not a loss. That's a clearing. That's space being made for what truly belongs. You don't need to hold on to everything. You just need to hold on to what nourishes your peace. You're not here to be available to everything. You're not here to manage everyone's emotions. You're not here to carry more than you can handle. You're here to build a life that feels whole. You're here to rise every day with energy, direction, and inner calm. And you can't do that while saying yes to everything that comes your way. Choose wisely. Speak firmly. Protect your energy like it's gold, because it is. And when you do that, peace is no longer a wish. It becomes your way of life. Chapter 5. Improve your mindset through daily intentional reflection time. Your mind will only grow stronger if you take time to listen to it every day. Not just react to what it feels, not just suppress what it carries, but truly listen. Reflection is the process of facing yourself honestly, without noise, without judgment, without escape. Most people avoid this because it requires slowing down. It requires pausing the constant movement of life to ask deeper questions. But those who never stop to think about where they are end up drifting through days, reacting instead of choosing, surviving instead of leading. You can change that. You can begin by creating space to think clearly, to observe your thoughts, to make sense of your inner world before you face the outer one. Daily reflection is not a luxury. It is necessary if you want to live with self-respect, purpose, and mental strength. If you never reflect, you stay stuck in cycles that feel familiar but exhausting. You repeat the same habits, feel the same emotions, and wonder why nothing changes. But when you reflect, you create a mirror for your mind. You start to see patterns. You notice what lifts you up and what pulls you down. You stop moving on autopilot and start choosing your direction. Start simple, set aside time each day to be with your thoughts. It doesn't need to be long. 10 minutes of focused, honest reflection can shift your entire mindset. Find a space that's quiet and free from distraction. Sit with yourself, no screens, no music, just your presence. Let the silence guide you inward. Begin with one question: what am I really feeling today? Not what you should feel, not what you want to feel. What is actually there? Seek the truth to yourself, even if it's uncomfortable. Write down your thoughts, not to sound wise or impressive, but to be real. Your reflection is not for others to read. It's for you to understand yourself better. Journaling helps you untangle the knots in your mind. It helps you face the thoughts you usually run from. It gives form to your feelings, making them easier to understand and manage. When you write, you slow down your thinking enough to see what's beneath the surface. That is where clarity lives. Use your reflection time to ask deeper questions. What drained me today? What gave me energy? What did I avoid? What did I face with courage? Where did I act out of fear? Where did I act out of strength? Don't try to fix everything in one sitting. Just notice. Awareness is the first step toward growth. You can't change what you refuse to see, but once you see it, you can decide what to do next. You can begin to shift your responses, your choices, your habits, one thought at a time. Reflection also allows you to separate facts from stories. Your mind often builds assumptions that create unnecessary stress. Someone's silence becomes a rejection, a delay becomes a failure, a mistake becomes proof that you'll never succeed. But when you pause and reflect, you challenge those stories. You ask, is this really true, or am I reacting from fear? You learn to be your own guide instead of letting old emotions or insecurities take the lead. Over time, daily reflection builds mental discipline. You stop reacting to every mood. You stop feeding negative cycles. You become more grounded. Your thoughts become sharper, more organized. You notice your triggers sooner. You recover from setbacks faster, because you are no longer a stranger to your own mind. You know what you think. You know what you feel. And you are strong enough to face it. Some days your reflections will be heavy. Pain, regret, anger, doubt. They will surface. Let them. This is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign that you are doing the work. Growth doesn't come from ignoring pain. It comes from understanding it. When you sit with your emotions instead of running, you gain power over them. You realize they don't control you, they pass through you, and when you observe them with honesty and care, you begin to transform how you respond to life. On other days, your reflection will bring clarity, confidence, and peace. It will remind you of how far you've come. It will reconnect you with what matters. It will show you what you're capable of when you live with intention. These moments fuel your motivation. They ground your energy. They remind you why consistency matters. Make reflection a daily non-negotiable. Do it when you wake up or before you sleep. Do it at the same time each day to build the habit. Don't wait for a crisis to check in with yourself. Make self-awareness a part of your lifestyle. When you do, you'll notice something change. Your choices become cleaner. Your mind becomes lighter. Your words carry more truth. Your days feel more directed. Reflection time also helps you reconnect with your values. In the chaos of everyday life, it's easy to forget what you truly stand for. But your values are what guide your best decisions. They are what anchor you in hard moments. When you reflect daily, you bring those values to the surface. You remember what kind of person you want to be. And that memory strengthens your ability to act with integrity, even under pressure. Don't expect perfection. You will miss days. Your mind will resist. You'll feel like skipping it. That's normal. But remember, skipping your reflection is like skipping a conversation with your own soul. It's not something you do because you feel like it. It's something you do because it keeps you aligned, awake, and on it. The days you least feel like reflecting are the days you need it the most. There is strength in pausing. There is clarity in listening. There is power in knowing what's going on inside you before the world demands you to respond. That's what daily intentional reflection gives you: a chance to reset your thoughts, reconnect with your goals, and refocus your energy. You stop being a victim of circumstances and become a builder of your mindset. Your mindset is not fixed. It is built every day through what you focus on, what you believe, and what you choose to think about. Reflection time gives you control over that process. You stop carrying yesterday's confusion into today's decisions. You start noticing the difference between what you think and what is real. You begin to replace fear with reason, insecurity with strength, and noise with clarity. This habit becomes your private power. You don't have to share it with anyone. You don't have to explain it. But those around you will feel the difference. They'll notice how steady you are, how present you've become, how you carry yourself with intention. And that's not because your life got easier. It's because you trained your mind to stay aligned, no matter what happens outside you. If you want to live with strength, start by listening to yourself. If you want to lead your life instead of drifting through it, make space to ask what's true, what's needed, what must change. That space is your edge. That space is your protection. That space is where a powerful mindset is built, one thought, one reflection, one quiet moment at a time. Chapter 6. Eliminate negative people who drain your inner energy. The people you allow into your life shape how you think, how you feel, and how you move forward. Some people inspire you to grow, support your goals, and respect your boundaries. Others do the opposite. They drain your energy without giving anything back. They create chaos, not peace. They bring complaints, criticism, and confusion. They ask for more than they offer. They pull you down when you try to rise, and they do it so often, you start thinking it's normal to feel tired after every conversation. But it's not. You're not supposed to feel exhausted after spending time with someone. You're not supposed to feel smaller, weaker, or confused just because someone is in your space. Your energy is a reflection of who surrounds you. And if you never protect it, you'll keep giving your strength to people who don't deserve it. It's not your job to carry other people's emotional weight every day. It's not your responsibility to fix someone who refuses to grow. It's not healthy to constantly absorb other people's negativity while trying to hold your own life together. There comes a time when you have to look at the people around you and ask a hard question. Who brings peace and who brings pressure? Who respects your time and who constantly crosses your boundaries? Who celebrates your growth and who secretly resents it? The answers to these questions will guide the changes you need to make. Removing negative people from your life isn't an act of cruelty, it's an act of survival. It's a decision to honor your well-being. It's choosing to stop betraying yourself just to maintain relationships that have no balance, no respect, and no future. You don't owe access to anyone who disrespects your peace. You don't owe loyalty to people who treat you like a convenience. You don't need to explain yourself to those who keep showing you that they have no interest in your growth. Some connections were only meant to last for a season. And when that season ends, holding on only slows you down. Start by being honest about how you feel around certain people. Notice who leaves you feeling heavy, confused, drained, or insecure. Pay attention to patterns, not just moments. Everyone has bad days, but negative people make you feel like every day is a bad day. They don't listen. They don't grow, they don't take responsibility, they blame, they complain, and they make excuses. And if you're not careful, you start doing the same. Because energy is contagious, and the longer you stay around the wrong people, the more you become like them. You have every right to protect your energy. You have the right to limit your time with people who always bring problems but never solutions. You have the right to step away from conversations that always end in arguments. You have the right to stop over-explaining your boundaries to people who keep ignoring them. You have the right to walk away from people who only love you when you're small, silent, or stuck. That's not love. That's control. And your peace matters more than someone else's comfort with your silence. The hardest part of letting go is not the decision, it's the guilt. It's wondering if you're being too harsh or too selfish. But the truth is, guilt fades and peace grows. If you keep holding on to people who drain you, you'll eventually have nothing left to give yourself. You'll spend all your energy managing their emotions while neglecting your own. You'll sacrifice your growth for their comfort, and that's not what healthy relationships look like. Healthy relationships are built on respect, not control, on support, not pressure, on balance, not constant sacrifice. You don't have to make a scene. You don't have to explain every detail. You don't need permission. You can simply choose to distance yourself, to stop answering every message, to decline invitations that don't serve your growth, to stop showing up for people who never show up for you. This is not weakness. This is clarity. It's realizing that not everyone deserves a seat at your table. Not everyone is meant to walk with you through every stage of life. Some people were only meant to teach you a lesson, and once that lesson is learned, you have the right to move on. You can still wish someone well and walk away. You can still care without carrying their weight. You can love from a distance without keeping their energy in your daily space. Letting go doesn't mean you're heartless. It means you're finally choosing yourself, and choosing yourself is the beginning of every good thing. It's the moment your life starts to reflect your values, your time starts to match your purpose, your energy starts to rebuild, your peace begins to grow. Sometimes the people who drain you the most are the ones you've known the longest. That makes it harder. But time doesn't equal value. Just because someone's been in your life for years doesn't mean they deserve to stay. If their presence creates tension, if their words create shame, if their actions create fear, then it's time to create distance. Loyalty to dysfunction is not strength. Strength is knowing when to stop watering what no longer grows. Strength is walking away without bitterness and focusing on the life you're trying to build. You will face resistance. Some people won't like your new boundaries. They will call you selfish. They will guilt you for changing. But remember, the people who lose access to your energy after you protect your peace were never there for you. They were there for the version of you that never said no. That version can't carry you anymore. You've outgrown the role of caretaker for everyone's chaos. You've outgrown relationships that demand your silence and punish your truth. You're building a life where your energy is protected, your voice is respected, and your peace is non-negotiable. Start with one step, one conversation, one boundary, one decision to say no without apology. One choice to protect your space. You don't have to fix everything overnight. But every small act of clarity builds a stronger version of you, and as you get stronger, you'll find that your energy no longer tolerates what once drained you. You'll attract better people, you'll make clearer decisions, you'll stop questioning your worth, because you'll know that you deserve peace, and you'll be living like it. Your inner energy is your power. It fuels your thoughts, your actions, your emotions. Don't waste it on people who refuse to grow. Don't hand it over to people who don't respect you. Don't let your light dim just to keep someone else comfortable in their own darkness. Protect your energy with courage, keep your space sacred, and trust that every time you remove someone who drains you, you make more room for someone who lifts you. You deserve that, you've earned that, and your peace will thank you for it. Chapter 7. Write down your goals and review them daily. Writing down your goals is one of the simplest yet most powerful steps you can take toward creating the life you want. When goals exist only as vague thoughts in your head, they float around without clear direction. They become wishes, not plans. But when you put them on paper, something changes. Your goals become real. They take shape. They become commitments you can see and return to. Writing your goals activates your brain in a different way. It engages parts of your mind that organize, plan, and create. Suddenly, your dreams are no longer abstract. They are steps waiting to be taken. The power of writing down your goals is multiplied when you review them daily. Daily review keeps your goals alive. It keeps your purpose fresh. It helps you remember why you started. Life has a way of pulling you into distractions, doubts, and detours. But daily review is like a compass that keeps you oriented. It reminds you of what truly matters. It helps you make decisions aligned with your vision, instead of drifting into what's easy or comfortable. When you revisit your goals every day, you strengthen your focus and sharpen your determination. The act of writing your goals is not just about words on a page. It's about clarity. It forces you to get specific. Vague goals lead to vague results. Instead of saying, "I want to be healthier," write, "I will walk for 30 minutes, 5 times a week." Instead of "I want to save money," write, "I will save $200 each month by reducing dining out." Specificity creates accountability. It gives your mind a clear target to aim for. It breaks down overwhelming dreams into manageable actions. Daily review is also a chance to track your progress. Are you following through? Are you getting closer to your goal? What obstacles did you face? What can you adjust? This honest reflection keeps you from drifting off course. It forces you to be real with yourself. Progress is not always a straight line, but daily review helps you stay on track even when things get tough. It turns goal setting into a living process rather than a one-time event. You can use any tool for this practice: a notebook, a journal, a digital app, or even sticky notes. What matters is that your goals are visible and accessible. When you review your goals, say them out loud or write a few notes about your progress. This repetition imprints them deeper into your subconscious. The more your brain absorbs your goals, the more it starts looking for opportunities, solutions, and resources to make them happen. It's as if your mind becomes a partner in your success. Writing down your goals daily also keeps your mindset positive and intentional. It reminds you to focus on what you want, not what you fear. When challenges arise, you'll remember your purpose and feel motivated to push through. Your goals become a source of energy, not stress. They anchor you when life feels chaotic. This simple habit transforms your mental landscape and prepares you for action every day. Another important part of this practice is breaking down your goals into smaller steps. Big goals can feel intimidating, but when you write down the next action to take, it becomes doable. Instead of launch a business, your next step could be research competitors this week. Instead of write a book, your next step could be write 300 words today. Daily review helps you identify those next steps clearly and keeps you moving forward consistently. When you write and review your goals, you also reinforce commitment. You're telling yourself, "This matters. I am serious." That internal commitment is what separates those who dream from those who achieve. It fuels persistence when motivation fades. It reminds you that your goals deserve daily attention and care, just like any important relationship or responsibility. Writing goals daily helps you avoid distractions and wasted time. When your goals are clear and top of mind, it's easier to say no to things that don't align. You start making choices that protect your time and energy. You become less likely to get caught up in other people's agendas or random tasks that don't move you closer to your vision. Your goals become your filter for what deserves your focus. Daily review also invites gratitude. As you write and reflect, you see progress, even small wins. This builds confidence and encourages a growth mindset. You learn to celebrate effort, not just results. You understand that setbacks are part of the journey and keep moving with patience and self-kindness. Gratitude for progress shifts your mindset from scarcity to abundance, from frustration to optimism. Don't wait for perfect conditions to start this habit. You don't need hours or special tools. Just 5 minutes each morning or evening is enough to write and review your goals. Consistency matters more than quantity. It's better to show up every day in small ways than to binge on planning and then lose momentum. This habit becomes your daily fuel. It keeps your purpose burning steadily instead of flickering. Over time, writing and reviewing your goals rewires your brain. It creates new neural pathways that strengthen your focus, motivation, and resilience. You become someone who doesn't get discouraged easily. You become someone who acts with intention instead of reaction. You become someone who controls their future instead of letting life control them. This transformation happens quietly but powerfully, one day at a time. Your goals are your future in progress. Writing them down daily is the commitment to bring that future into the present. It's the promise you make to yourself that you will not settle for less than your potential. It's the way you keep your dreams alive and moving forward even when challenges arise. When you make writing and reviewing your goals a daily habit, you stop drifting through life. You take the wheel, you steer toward the life you truly want. This practice is not magic, but it is close to it. It creates momentum. It builds clarity. It keeps you accountable. It strengthens your belief in yourself. It reminds you that you are capable of growth, change, and success. Your goals are not distant hopes. They are daily priorities. Your future is not a mystery. It is the result of your daily focus. Write your goals, review them every day. Then watch how your life begins to shift in ways you once thought were impossible. Chapter 8. Take full control of your daily decision-making. Every day, countless decisions cross your path. Some are small and seemingly insignificant, like what to eat or when to take a break. Others are bigger, shaping the course of your day, your relationships, and your future. Most people go through their days reacting to what happens around them without fully owning their choices. But real power comes from taking full control over every decision you make. This means becoming aware of how you decide, why you decide, and what those decisions lead to. It means refusing to let habit, emotion, or outside influence steer your life without your conscious input. When you take full control of your daily decision-making, you stop drifting. You stop blaming circumstances or others for your state. Instead, you claim responsibility for your actions, your feelings, and your outcomes. This responsibility is not a burden, it is freedom. It means you have the power to change your life one choice at a time. Even the smallest decisions, when made with intention, add up. They create momentum that leads to progress, growth, and fulfillment. When you take control, you become the author of your story rather than a passive reader. Start by noticing how you make decisions right now. Are you choosing based on clear priorities, or are you reacting to stress and distractions? Are you making decisions to move forward, or to avoid discomfort? Awareness is the first step. You can't improve what you don't see. When you observe your decision patterns honestly, you start to uncover where you give away your power. Maybe you say yes too often to please others. Maybe you avoid decisions because you fear failure. Maybe you get overwhelmed and default to habits that don't serve you. Recognizing these patterns lets you break free. Taking control means slowing down your mind before you decide. It means resisting the urge to act impulsively, especially when emotions are high. When you pause and ask yourself, what outcome do I want from this decision? You shift from automatic reaction to conscious choice. This pause creates space for clarity and wisdom. It allows you to align your actions with your values and goals. When decisions reflect your true intentions, your life gains direction and coherence. You must prioritize your long-term goals over short-term comfort. Many decisions test this balance daily. Will you choose to work on your goals now or scroll mindlessly through social media? Will you say no to distractions or give in to temptation? Will you invest energy in growth or waste it on excuses? Taking control means saying yes to what serves your future and no to what steals your energy. It's about making choices that build resilience, discipline, and progress, even when it's difficult. Clear boundaries support controlled decision-making. If you don't set limits around your time, attention, and energy, others will decide for you. Without boundaries, it's easy to get pulled in directions that don't align with your priorities. By defining what you will and won't accept, you protect your ability to choose freely. Boundaries are the guardrails that keep your decisions intentional instead of reactive. They reduce overwhelm and confusion by simplifying your options. Decision fatigue is real, but you can manage it. Every choice uses mental energy. When you make hundreds of small decisions without awareness, your willpower drains quickly. To preserve your decision-making power, create routines and habits around important actions. Automate where possible. For example, plan your meals, exercise, and work schedule ahead of time. This reduces the number of decisions you must make on the spot and saves energy for critical moments. When your daily life runs on thoughtful systems, you take back control. Taking full control also means learning to trust yourself. Doubt often paralyzes decision-making. You might worry about making the wrong choice or upsetting others, but no decision is perfect. Every choice has risks. Trusting yourself means accepting uncertainty and moving forward anyway. It means valuing your judgment and experiences. The more you make intentional decisions, the stronger your confidence grows. Confidence is built through action, not waiting for the perfect moment. Mistakes are part of taking control. When you own your decisions, you also own the outcomes, both good and bad. Instead of blaming circumstances or people, you reflect on what you can learn and adjust. This mindset turns failure into feedback. It helps you grow stronger and wiser. The fear of failure no longer controls you because you know mistakes don't define your worth or ability to succeed. They are stepping stones on your path. To support decision control, develop a clear set of personal values. Values act as a compass that guides your choices. When you know what matters most, honesty, health, growth, family, you can weigh decisions against these priorities. Values simplify complexity. Instead of endless pros and cons, you ask, does this align with who I want to be? If yes, act. If no, reconsider. This alignment creates internal peace, because your decisions reflect your authentic self. Practice taking control in small ways. Start with daily choices like what to eat, when to rest, or how to spend your free time. Notice the difference between mindless decisions and those made with intention. Gradually expand this awareness to bigger choices, like managing relationships, finances, and career moves. Each time you choose consciously, you strengthen your ability to lead your life fully. Surround yourself with people who respect your decision. When others honor your boundaries and support your goals, it becomes easier to stay in control. Negative influences can create doubt and confusion. Positive relationships reinforce your commitment and boost your confidence. When you share your intentions with trusted allies, you build a support system that helps you stay accountable. Taking full control requires discipline but also self-compassion. Sometimes you will slip back into old patterns. You will make reactive choices or give away your power. That's part of the process. When it happens, don't beat yourself up. Recognize it, learn from it, and recommit. Progress is not linear. It's a steady effort to grow stronger with each decision. Ultimately, full control over your daily decision-making means you live deliberately. You no longer leave your life to chance or external pressures. Instead, you choose your path with clarity and confidence. This choice empowers you to build habits, relationships, and a lifestyle that support your vision. It turns everyday moments into meaningful steps forward. It transforms challenges into opportunities for growth. You are not a victim of circumstance. You are a decision maker. You hold the power to shape your day, your mindset, and your future. The quality of your life depends on the quality of your decisions. Take that power seriously. Choose with intention. Act with purpose. Live with control. When you do, you become unstoppable in your pursuit of what matters most. Chapter 9. Speak kindly to yourself when doubt shows up. Doubt is one of the most common experiences in life, yet it often arrives uninvited and unwelcome. It creeps in quietly and whispers uncertainty in your mind, just when you need confidence the most. Everyone faces doubt at some point. It's part of being human. What separates those who succeed from those who falter is how they respond to doubt. The way you talk to yourself when doubt appears has a profound impact on your mindset, your resilience, and ultimately your progress. Speaking kindly to yourself during these moments is not a sign of weakness. It is an act of strength. It is choosing to protect your inner world so that you can keep moving forward, despite the fear and uncertainty. When doubt shows up, your mind may flood with harsh judgments. You might tell yourself that you are not good enough, that you will fail, or that you don't deserve success. These thoughts are painful and often feel true, but they are not facts. They are stories your mind creates under pressure. Without kind words to counterbalance these narratives, they grow louder and more convincing. Speaking kindly to yourself means interrupting this negative spiral. It means becoming aware of these harsh thoughts and replacing them with words that support rather than sabotage. Kind self-talk does not mean ignoring problems or pretending everything is perfect. It means facing your fears with honesty, but also compassion. Instead of telling yourself, "I can't do this," you say, "I'm struggling right now, but I'm capable of learning and growing." Instead of "I'm a failure," you say, "I made a mistake, and that's part of the process." This shift in language rewires your brain. It changes the emotional charge attached to doubt and creates space for hope and possibility. The voice you use inside your head shapes your feelings and actions. Imagine how different you would feel if you replaced criticism with encouragement. If you spoke to yourself like you would to a close friend or someone you care deeply about, would you belittle them for being unsure, or would you remind them of their strengths and past wins? Your inner voice deserves the same kindness. When you nurture yourself with supportive language, you build emotional resilience. You strengthen your ability to face challenges without giving up. Practicing kind self-talk requires intention and repetition. Your mind is used to negativity and may resist at first. When doubt arrives, pause, take a breath. Notice the words running through your mind. Acknowledge them without judgment. Then gently introduce kinder phrases. You can say, "This feeling is temporary," or "I'm doing my best right now." Over time, these phrases will become more natural. Your mind will start offering kindness automatically instead of defaulting to criticism. Writing down kind affirmations can help embed this practice. Create a list of statements that feel true and uplifting to you. For example, I am enough, I am capable, or I learn from every experience. Read these aloud daily, or when doubt arises. Seeing and hearing positive words reinforces their power. It shifts your focus from what's going wrong to what's possible. It reminds you that your worth is not tied to perfection or immediate success. Another way to practice kindness is to challenge the doubt itself. Ask yourself, is this thought really true? Often doubts are exaggerated fears or false assumptions. Reflect on evidence that disproves the negative belief. Recall moments when you succeeded, overcame obstacles, or surprised yourself. When you bring facts into the conversation, doubt loses some of its grip. You replace fear-based stories with reality-based truths. This balanced perspective calms your mind and boosts your confidence. It's important to recognize that doubt can sometimes signal growth. When you push yourself outside your comfort zone, it's natural to feel unsure. Doubt means you're challenging old limits and stepping into new territory. Speaking kindly to yourself in these moments is like offering encouragement to a friend taking their first steps. It supports your courage and keeps you moving forward despite discomfort. Rather than fearing doubt, learn to welcome it as a sign of progress. Kind self-talk also helps reduce anxiety and stress. Negative thoughts trigger fight or flight responses, raising tension in your body and mind. Kindness activates the opposite response, calming your nervous system. It lowers cortisol levels and helps you think more clearly. When you speak kindly to yourself, you create a mental environment where solutions can emerge. You become less reactive and more thoughtful. This mental calmness is essential for effective problem-solving and decision-making. Your daily habits impact how easily you can speak kindly to yourself. Prioritize self-care practices that nurture your mind and body. Get enough rest, eat nourishing foods, move regularly, and spend time in nature. These actions build a foundation of strength that supports emotional resilience. When your body feels well cared for, your mind finds it easier to shift toward kindness. Neglecting yourself makes doubt feel more overwhelming and harsh. Surrounding yourself with positive influences also strengthens your inner voice. Seek out people who lift you up, celebrate your progress, and encourage your growth. Limit time with those who reinforce doubt or bring negativity. The words and attitudes of others shape your own self-talk more than you might realize. Choose environments that foster kindness, support, and honest feedback. This external support reinforces the kindness you practice internally. Be patient with yourself. Changing the way you talk to yourself is a process. Old patterns run deep and can resist change. You may catch yourself slipping into negative self-talk repeatedly. When that happens, don't give up or feel ashamed. Notice the slip without judgment and return to kind phrases. Consistency over time builds new neural pathways that make kindness your default mode. This steady effort creates lasting transformation. In moments of intense doubt, try combining kind self-talk with mindful breathing. Slow, deep breaths bring attention to the present moment and reduce emotional overwhelm. Pair this with gentle affirmations like, I am safe, or I am enough. This combination calms your nervous system and softens harsh inner voices. It creates space to respond rather than react to doubt. Speaking kindly to yourself is a daily practice of self-respect. It honors your humanity, your struggles, and your potential. It turns doubt from a stumbling block into a stepping stone. This kindness fuels your inner strength, perseverance, and hope. It reminds you that you are worthy of love, care, and success no matter what your mind tries to tell you. As you commit to this practice, notice how your relationship with yourself changes. You'll start treating yourself with more patience and compassion. You'll stop being your own harshest critic and become your strongest supporter. This shift opens the door to greater confidence, joy, and peace. Doubt will still appear, but it will no longer control your story. Instead, you will guide yourself forward with kindness and courage. one thought at a time. Chapter 10. Track your progress every week with honest feedback. Tracking your progress each week with honest feedback is one of the most effective ways to ensure continuous growth and meaningful achievement. When you commit to regularly reviewing what you have done, what worked and what didn't, you create a clear picture of your journey. This clarity removes confusion and uncertainty, giving you actionable insights that push you forward. Without tracking, your efforts can become scattered and directionless, making it harder to measure success or adjust course when needed. Honest feedback is not about judging yourself harshly, it's about seeing reality clearly so you can make better decisions and improve steadily. Regular progress tracking requires consistency. Set aside dedicated time once a week to reflect on your actions and results. This could be at the end of your week or at a specific time that suits your schedule. During this time, examine your goals and compare them with what you accomplished. Ask yourself important questions. Did I follow through on my commitments? Where did I excel? What challenges came up? What lessons did I learn? What adjustments can I make to improve next week? Answering these questions honestly creates a feedback loop that fuels growth and accountability. Honesty is crucial in this process. It can be tempting to overlook failures or make excuses, but avoiding truth stalls progress. Look at your results without blame or defensiveness. Be curious instead of critical. Consider your setbacks as data points rather than personal flaws. This mindset frees you from discouragement and opens doors to problem solving. When you treat your progress review as an opportunity to learn and adapt, you gain control over your growth instead of feeling stuck. Keeping a progress journal or log helps organize your reflections and track changes over time. Write down your weekly wins, challenges, and insights. This record provides motivation as you see your improvements accumulate. It also highlights recurring obstacles that need attention. Over weeks and months, your journal becomes a map of your journey, a source of encouragement and a guide for future action. Written feedback helps your brain absorb lessons more deeply and solidifies your commitment to improvement. Involve others in your feedback loop when appropriate. Trusted friends, mentors, or coaches can offer perspectives you might miss. They can provide constructive criticism and celebrate your successes with genuine encouragement. External feedback complements your self-assessment by adding balance and objectivity. Choose people who understand your goals and support your growth. Receiving honest input from others strengthens your resilience and broadens your understanding of your progress. Tracking progress weekly also helps manage overwhelm. Large goals can feel intimidating and distant, but breaking them into weekly checkpoints makes them manageable. Weekly reviews prevent small issues from becoming big problems. They allow you to celebrate incremental gains, which boosts motivation. When you consistently acknowledge your efforts, even small ones, you build momentum that keeps you moving forward. Identify key metrics or indicators related to your goals. These might be numbers, behaviors, or habits that signify progress. For example, if your goal is better fitness, track workouts completed, distance run, or strength gains. If your goal is professional growth, track tasks completed, skills learned, or networking contacts made. Measuring progress with clear indicators removes guesswork and reveals what's effective. It also makes achievements tangible and rewarding. When reviewing your progress, focus on both outcomes and effort. Success is not just about results, but also about consistent action. Praise yourself for showing up and doing the work even when results are slow or imperfect. This balanced view builds a growth mindset where effort leads to mastery over time. It reduces frustration and helps maintain motivation during plateaus or setbacks. Use your weekly reviews to set priorities for the coming day. Based on your reflections, decide which actions will have the most impact. Adjust your plans to address weaknesses and build on strength. This proactive approach makes your goals feel alive and responsive to your current reality. You avoid stagnation and keep your efforts aligned with your evolving needs. Celebrate your progress regularly. Recognizing milestones, no matter how small, reinforces positive habits and builds confidence. Take time to acknowledge improvements and give yourself credit for persistence. This celebration fuels enthusiasm and encourages you to continue pushing toward your vision. It reminds you that growth is a journey, not just a destination. Avoid perfectionism during your tracking process. Progress is rarely linear. Expect fluctuations and challenges along the way. Honest feedback includes recognizing when things didn't go as planned and forgiving yourself. Use these moments as opportunities to deepen your commitment rather than reasons to quit. Flexibility combined with discipline creates sustainable progress. Create a feedback environment that supports your growth. Minimize distractions during your review time so you can focus fully. Approach your reflections with curiosity and openness. Write freely, without censoring yourself. This honest space encourages deeper insights and stronger self-awareness. The more authentic your feedback, the more it will guide you toward meaningful change. Tracking your progress weekly turns abstract goals into concrete achievements. It transforms vague aspirations into measurable steps. This clarity empowers you to take control of your growth. You gain confidence in your ability to learn from experience and adapt your approach. Progress tracking is a form of self-respect because it values your efforts and potential. The habit of honest feedback becomes a foundation for lifelong learning. It trains you to seek truth about yourself without fear or avoidance. This truth opens pathways to self-improvement that are grounded in reality rather than wishful thinking. Over time, you develop greater wisdom, emotional strength, and self-discipline. Your weekly progress reviews can also highlight new opportunities. When you understand your patterns and strengths, you become better at spotting chances for growth. This awareness allows you to make smarter decisions and take advantage of momentum. Tracking progress creates a dynamic feedback cycle, where every week builds on the last. This process keeps your vision alive. In the midst of daily challenges and distractions, weekly reviews reconnect you with your purpose. They remind you why you started and what you're working toward. This connection fuels motivation and resilience, helping you push through tough times. Start your weekly tracking habit with a simple routine. Set a specific day and time for your review. Prepare a notebook, app, or document to capture your reflections. Commit to honesty and openness. Over time, deepen your practice with more detailed questions and insight. Allow your progress reviews to evolve as your goals and needs change. Remember that tracking progress with honest feedback is an act of empowerment. It places your growth in your hands and gives you the tools to succeed. It transforms vague dreams into achievable plans and passive wishes into active efforts. When you consistently measure your progress and respond honestly, you create a powerful engine for change. This habit builds momentum, confidence, and clarity. It frees you from guesswork and self-doubt. It nurtures resilience and perseverance. You learn to navigate setbacks with grace and celebrate wins with humility. Tracking progress weekly is not just a productivity tool. It's a way to live intentionally and grow steadily toward your highest potential. Make this practice a non-negotiable part of your routine. Treat it as essential as eating, sleeping, or breathing. When you do, you will find that your life begins to reflect your true priorities. Your actions will align with your values. Your goals will move closer within reach. You become the person who doesn't just dream, but achieves. You become the master of your own growth and success. Chapter 11. Protect your time as your most valuable resource. Time is the only resource you can never get back once it's spent. It cannot be stored, paused, or recovered. Every minute that passes is gone forever, and how you use it defines what your life becomes. You can rebuild money, you can repair relationships, you can even restore your health to a degree. But the time that slips away while you're distracted or unfocused is permanently lost. That's why protecting your time is not just about productivity, it's about valuing your life. When you begin to treat time as your most precious asset, you make decisions that reflect your true priorities. You stop wasting it on things that do not matter, and you start creating space for the things that do. Most people let their time be controlled by the demands and expectations of others. They say yes to things out of guilt, habit, or fear of missing out. They fill their schedules with noise and activity, leaving no room for reflection or rest. When you live like this, your time is no longer your own. You become reactive instead of intentional. You move through your day trying to keep up, instead of stepping back and asking what's truly worth your attention. Protecting your time starts with reclaiming ownership over it. You get to decide where it goes, and no one else should have more say over your time than you do. Start by becoming aware of how you currently spend your time. Track it for a few days without judgment. Notice how much of your day is dedicated to meaningful action versus mindless activity. See where your time is leaking through distractions, unnecessary meetings, endless scrolling, or saying yes to things that don't align with your goals. This awareness alone can be eye-opening. When you clearly see where your time is going, you begin to understand the importance of guarding it fiercely. Once you understand your time patterns, the next step is to build boundaries. You need strong, non-negotiable limits around your schedule to protect what matters most. That might mean setting office hours, turning off notifications, or limiting how often you check your phone. It might mean carving out time blocks for deep work or creating space each day for rest and recovery. Your boundaries will look different depending on your life, but the key is to enforce them consistently. A boundary only works if you honor it even when it's inconvenient. Another powerful way to protect your time is to become ruthless about what you say yes to. Every yes is a no to something else. If you say yes to every request, you say no to your own goals, health, and peace of mind. Learn to pause before committing. Ask yourself if the opportunity or invitation is truly aligned with your purpose. Ask if it energizes you or drains you. If the answer is unclear, the safest choice is often no. You don't owe your time to anyone who doesn't value it as much as you do. Eliminating time wasters is equally important. Identify activities and habits that consistently steal your time and give you little in return. That might be binge-watching content that leaves you feeling empty, conversations that go nowhere, or tasks that could easily be delegated or deleted. Simplify your environment and your routines so that your time is spent intentionally. The more you remove what's unnecessary, the more space you create for what truly matters. Prioritizing also plays a crucial role in protecting your time. Not everything on your to-do list is urgent or important. Learn to distinguish between tasks that move you forward and those that just keep you busy. Focus first on high-impact activities that bring you closer to your goals. This requires clarity. If you're unsure what you're working toward, everything will feel equally urgent. Take time to define your vision so you can use your time in service of it. One of the greatest tools for protecting your time is learning how to plan effectively. Set daily, weekly, and monthly intentions that align with your bigger goals. Structure your day around blocks of focused work, rest, and reflection. Avoid leaving your time up to chance. When you plan in advance, you become the architect of your time instead of being pulled in different directions. But remember, a plan only works when you respect it. Honor your schedule the same way you would honor someone else's. Show up for yourself with the same commitment. Saying no will feel uncomfortable at first, especially if you're used to pleasing people or avoiding conflict. But each time you say no to something that doesn't serve you, you are saying yes to your time, your goals, and your peace. With practice, it becomes easier. You begin to value your time so deeply that you no longer give it away carelessly. You stop apologizing for protecting your energy. You recognize that your time is the container for your entire life, and treating it with respect is a sign of self-worth. Protecting your time also means learning how to focus deeply. Multitasking might feel efficient, but it often scatters your energy and leads to lower quality work. Practice being fully present in whatever you are doing. Give your full attention to the task at hand. This level of focus not only improves your performance, but also allows you to complete work faster and with less stress. Deep focus is a time protection strategy that leads to both higher productivity and greater satisfaction. Rest is another critical component of time protection. Many people burn out because they try to fill every available hour with work or obligation. But rest is not wasted time, it's a necessary part of sustained growth. Schedule regular time for rest, hobbies, connection, and solitude. These moments restore your mind and body so that you can show up more fully in every area of your life. Protecting your time means protecting your energy, and rest is a key part of that equation. One of the most valuable shifts you can make is viewing your time as an investment. Every moment you spend is a choice. You are either investing in your future or borrowing from it. Choose to spend your time on what adds value to your life and aligns with your vision. Choose to spend it with people who respect your time and contribute to your growth. Choose to spend it on actions that leave you better than you were before. The more you protect your time, the more you begin to see results. You feel more focused, more at peace, and more in control. Your progress accelerates because your energy is no longer scattered. You begin to live with intention rather than by default. This sense of control fuels confidence, and that confidence reinforces discipline. It becomes a cycle of growth, clarity, and purpose. Time is not guaranteed. None of us knows how much of it we have left. That's why it's too valuable to waste. Every hour matters. Every decision matters. You do not have to fill your calendar to prove your worth. You do not have to be available to everyone. You do not have to explain your need for space or solitude. Your time is yours. Protect it fiercely. Guard it like treasure. Use it to build the life you truly want, one meaningful moment at a time. Chapter 12. Choose your thoughts instead of reacting to life. Every day, you face situations that you cannot predict. Events happen, people speak, plans fall through, and the world continues to unfold whether you are ready or not. Most people go through life reacting to these events without ever questioning the thoughts that follow. They respond on autopilot out of habit, stress, or emotion, without realizing that they're giving away their power. But the truth is, you are not your first thought. You are not the emotion that rises instantly in response to life's noise. You are the awareness behind it, and in that space you have a choice. When you learn to choose your thoughts instead of reacting to life, you take ownership of your mind. And once you own your mind, you begin to own your life. Your thoughts are the seeds of your reality. Every action you take begins with a thought. Every emotion you feel is shaped by the thoughts you allow to settle. But most thoughts are not chosen with care. They are habits formed by past experiences, fears, and the influence of others. You absorb them over time until they feel like truth. But just because a thought appears doesn't mean you have to accept it. You can pause, examine it, and decide if it serves you. That pause is the beginning of freedom. Choosing your thoughts begins with noticing them. Before you can direct your thinking, you have to become aware of what you're thinking. This requires slowing down and paying attention to your internal dialogue. Throughout your day, notice what your mind says when things go wrong, when people criticize you, when plans change or when you feel pressure? Is your first instinct to blame yourself, to panic, to get angry, or to shut down? These automatic reactions are built over time, but they can be unbuilt. The moment you catch a thought is the moment you gain power over it. Once you see your thoughts clearly, ask if they are helpful. Are they guiding you forward or pulling you backward? Are they rooted in fear or in strength? A thought like "I can't handle this" may feel real, but that doesn't make it true. You can replace it with "I'll figure this out step by step." The event hasn't changed, but the lens through which you see it has. This shift in mindset opens up solutions, calms your nervous system, and helps you act with clarity. Choosing your thoughts doesn't mean forcing yourself to be positive all the time. It means being intentional about what you allow to stay in your mind. Life will test you, pain will show up, doubt will creep in. You are allowed to feel those things, but you also have the ability to guide your mind toward thoughts that help you respond rather than react. When you react, you give your power to the world. When you choose, you keep it for yourself. Practice begins in the small moment. When someone interrupts you, pause. Notice the thought that rises. Instead of assuming they don't respect you, consider that they may be unaware. When you make a mistake, catch the self-criticism. Replace "I'm such a failure" with "This is a lesson I needed to learn." When plans fall apart, resist spiraling into frustration. Choose to think, "Now I have space to do something else." These are not fake affirmations, they are decisions. You are choosing which perspective gives you the most control, peace, and strength. To consistently choose your thoughts, you must also manage what enters your mind. Just as your body responds to the food you eat, your mind responds to the information you consume. Be selective about what you read, watch, and listen to. Choose content that uplifts, educates, and empowers. Limit exposure to negativity, gossip, and constant noise. Surround yourself with people who challenge you to think better and live better. Your environment shapes your mental default settings, and when you raise the quality of input, you raise the quality of thought. Meditation and mindfulness strengthen your ability to observe and redirect thoughts. Sitting still for a few minutes each day and watching your mind without judgment builds mental muscle. You begin to see thoughts come and go like clouds. You realize that you are not trapped by them. With time, your mind becomes less chaotic and more focused. You stop reacting to every emotion or impulse. Instead, you respond with wisdom and calm. Another helpful practice is journaling. Writing down your thoughts helps you slow them down and see patterns clearly. You begin to notice which thoughts keep recurring, which ones lift you up, and which ones tear you down. Once you see these patterns on paper, you can challenge them. You can write new thoughts that reflect who you are becoming rather than who you used to be. This process creates mental clarity and emotional release. Choosing your thoughts also requires self-respect. You have to believe that your inner peace is worth protecting. You must understand that not every problem deserves your attention, and not every comment needs a reaction. When you value your mental space, you stop allowing outside chaos to control your inner state. You begin to set mental boundaries, just like you set physical ones. You give your energy only to what aligns with your values and your growth. In difficult moments, choosing your thoughts becomes even more important. Painful situations often trigger the most destructive thinking. In those times, remind yourself that you still have a choice. You can acknowledge the pain without feeding it with harmful thoughts. You can feel fear and still think, "I am strong enough to face this." You can experience loss and still believe, "I will find a way to heal." These choices don't erase the pain, but they keep it from defining your identity. As you develop this skill, your life begins to change in subtle but powerful ways. You stop being reactive. You start becoming intentional. You gain control over your emotions. You stop living at the mercy of circumstance. Your relationships improve because you respond with awareness instead of defensiveness. Your goals become clearer because your mind is less cluttered. Your peace deepens because your thoughts are aligned with your values and purpose. Choosing your thoughts is not about escaping reality. It's about taking responsibility for how you experience reality. Life will continue to challenge you, but when you master your thoughts, you become resilient. You handle setbacks with grace. You face uncertainty with courage. You bounce back faster. You grow stronger through discomfort. You create a life that reflects your best self, not your worst impulses. This practice requires patience. You won't catch every thought at first. Old patterns will try to pull you back. But with each effort, you build a new habit. One that supports growth, peace and clarity. Keep guiding your mind. Each time you do, you reclaim a piece of your power. Over time, your thoughts become your allies, not your enemies. And when your thoughts work for you, your life begins to transform in ways you never thought possible. Chapter 13. Upgrade your habits that keep you stuck and tired. Every day, your life is shaped by the habits you carry. They decide how you feel when you wake up, how much energy you bring into your work, how you treat your body, and how you move toward your goals. Many people stay stuck, not because they lack talent or opportunity, but because they live with habits that drain their energy and limit their progress. These habits don't always look harmful on the surface. They often feel familiar, automatic, and comfortable. But over time, they steal momentum and leave you feeling tired, lost, and frustrated. If you want to change your life, you have to be willing to change the small actions that shape it. You have to upgrade the habits that are no longer helping you grow. The first step in upgrading your habits is awareness. You have to look at your daily routine without excuses or denial. Pay close attention to how you spend your mornings, how you manage your time, how you eat, move, speak to yourself, and end your day. Notice which patterns leave you feeling heavy, restless, or unmotivated. Maybe it's starting the day scrolling on your phone. Maybe it's going to bed too late. Maybe it's putting off tasks until the last moment, eating without intention, or constantly avoiding important decisions. These small choices add up. They set the tone for your day, and over time they define your life. Recognizing them is the first act of power. Once you see the habits that leave you stuck, you have to be honest about how they affect you. Don't sugarcoat the consequences. If a habit is making you mentally tired, emotionally reactive, or physically unwell, face that truth. Avoiding it only keeps you trapped. Be willing to say, "This is not working for me anymore." That sentence opens the door to growth. It means you are no longer willing to live on autopilot. It means you are ready to choose better for yourself. Upgrading a habit doesn't mean changing your entire life overnight. It means replacing one small action with something more intentional. Start simple. Pick one habit that you know is holding you back and commit to improving it. If you stay up too late, set a realistic bedtime and protect it. If you start the day with distraction, begin instead with a few minutes of silence or reading. If you eat food that leaves you drained, prepare meals that fuel your energy. You don't need perfection, you need consistency. One small change, repeated daily, builds a new pattern. Discipline is what turns a new action into a lasting habit. Without it, motivation fades and old routines return. You must commit even on the days when it feels inconvenient. Growth requires effort, and changing habits will challenge your comfort. You will face resistance. Your mind will tell you it's easier to go back to what you know. That's normal. Keep going anyway. Each time you follow through, you strengthen your ability to choose growth over comfort. Track your habits to stay accountable. Write them down. Measure your consistency. Notice how each upgrade makes you feel. Do you have more energy, more clarity, more peace? These results are the proof that the work is worth it. When you see progress, it becomes easier to keep going. The hardest part is the beginning. Once you cross that, momentum builds, and your new habits begin to feel natural. Be patient with yourself. Some habits are deeply rooted. They were formed over years and may take time to unlearn. Progress might feel slow, but slow progress is still progress. Focus on direction, not speed. If you slip up, don't use it as a reason to quit. Reflect, adjust, and continue. The goal is not to be perfect, but to keep improving. Forgive yourself for the past. Your focus now is on building a better future with the choices you make today. Energy is a key signal. Pay attention to how your habits affect your physical and mental energy. Do certain activities leave you feeling drained or alive? Some habits take more than they give. They look easy but cost you focus, motivation, and health. Others require effort but give back tenfold. The more you align your habits with your goals and values, the more energized and purposeful your life becomes. Habits are also influenced by your environment. Look around. What in your surroundings encourages old patterns? Is your space cluttered, noisy, or chaotic? These small things matter. Create an environment that supports your new habits. Make healthy food easy to access. Keep your space clean. Turn off distractions during focus time. Surround yourself with people who support your growth and hold you accountable. If your environment keeps pulling you into the same tired behaviors, upgrade it along with your habits. The language you use also reinforces your habits. Stop telling yourself stories that limit you. Replace "I've always been like this" with "I'm learning to do things differently." Replace "This is just who I am" with "I'm choosing who I want to become." Words carry weight. The way you talk to yourself shapes your actions. Speak in a way that builds your strength, not your excuses. Habits don't just shape your day, they shape your identity. Every habit you choose is a vote for the kind of person you are becoming. When you upgrade your habits, you begin to upgrade your self-image. You start seeing yourself as someone who follows through, who values their health, their time, and their peace. This new identity becomes a source of pride and motivation. You no longer rely on willpower alone. You act in alignment with who you are becoming. Celebrate your progress. Even small wins deserve recognition. Each time you choose a better habit, you are choosing a better life. You are proving to yourself that change is possible. This self-trust builds confidence and resilience. It shows you that you are not stuck. You are not defined by your past. You are capable of creating a new path, one choice at a time. Keep learning. Pay attention to how other people build strong habits. Read, study, observe, borrow strategies that resonate and make them your own. Growth is not about copying others, it's about finding what works for you and doing it consistently. Stay curious about yourself. Keep asking what you need to feel more alive, more focused, and more fulfilled. Your habits are the answer. Sometimes the habits that hold you back are rooted in deeper emotional patterns. If you notice a habit tied to fear, shame, or avoidance, explore it gently. Ask what need the habit is trying to meet. Then find a healthier way to meet that need. Emotional awareness helps you upgrade your habits in a way that feels supportive, rather than punishing. It turns your growth into a process of healing, not just productivity. Your time is too valuable to waste on habits that leave you tired, stuck, or uninspired. Your energy is too important to give away to patterns that hold you back. You are here to grow, to contribute, to thrive, not to survive under the weight of old routine. Take full responsibility for how you live each day. Upgrade your habits like your future depends on it. Because it does. You deserve a life that reflects your effort, your vision, and your commitment. Start with one change. Make it solid, then build on it. Over time, your habits will create the life you are always meant to live. Chapter 14. Fuel your body with foods that energize progress. The way you eat affects more than just your body. It directly influences your energy, clarity, motivation, and ability to show up fully each day. What you put on your plate is not just about staying fit or losing weight. It's about feeding your focus, powering your decisions, and supporting your physical and mental strength. If you want to keep moving forward in life, you need energy that lasts, and that energy starts with what you choose to fuel yourself with every single day. When your body is constantly fighting the effects of processed food, sugar overload, and empty calories, it doesn't have the strength or stability to support high performance. You might wake up groggy, move through your day with sluggishness, struggle to stay focused, or feel emotionally off-center. That's not just a mindset problem, it's often a physical one. Your body isn't getting what it needs to function at its best. You can be disciplined, motivated, and determined, but if your nutrition is poor, you'll always be fighting an uphill battle. That's why upgrading the way you eat is a fundamental part of self-respect and self-mastery. Real food gives you real power. Fresh vegetables, fruits, clean proteins, whole grains, nuts, seeds, and healthy fats all work together to support the systems that keep you going. When you give your body what it truly needs, it responds by giving you better focus, improved mood, steadier energy, and more clarity in your choices. You feel less weighed down, less reactive, and more balanced from the inside out. Eating well isn't a punishment or a restriction, it's an act of personal empowerment. It's easy to ignore how much food matters because we often eat on autopilot. Meals become rushed, distracted, or driven by emotion. You eat because you're bored, anxious, or tired, not because your body actually needs fuel. That cycle leads to quick fixes that don't last. Sugary snacks, heavy meals, and drinks packed with caffeine or chemicals give a fast boost and then leave you crashing. You feel scattered instead of steady, distracted instead of determined. That pattern holds you back, and until you change it, it will keep costing you in ways you don't even realize. Start paying attention to how food makes you feel, not just how it tastes. After each meal, ask yourself if you feel clearer, lighter, and more energized, or bloated, sluggish, and foggy. Your body is always communicating with you. When you learn to listen to its signals, you begin to choose foods that support your goals instead of sabotaging them. This awareness gives you power over habits that no longer serve you. You don't need extreme diets or complicated plans. You need simple, consistent nourishment. Focus on eating whole foods that are close to their natural state. Choose ingredients that your great-grandparents would recognize. Fill your plate with color, texture, and variety. Eat foods that make you feel alive, not numb. Cook your meals when you can, so you know what you're putting into your body. Drinking more water, reducing sugar, avoiding artificial ingredients, and keeping your meals balanced is already a strong foundation. How you eat matters as much as what you eat. Sit down for your meals, slow down while eating. Pay attention to the experience instead of eating while distracted by screens or stress. Chew your food properly and give your body time to digest. These small details improve how well your body absorbs nutrients and keeps you connected to your needs. You begin to break the cycle of mindless eating and emotional snacking that throws your energy off course. Food and discipline go hand in hand. When you make intentional choices about how you nourish your body, you send a signal to your brain that you are serious about your growth. You are saying, I am in control of what enters my body and how it supports my performance. This mindset reinforces your ability to make better decisions in every area of life. Food becomes part of your routine of self-respect. It becomes part of your plan for progress. Cravings and temptations are natural, but they don't have to control you. Learn to pause and ask yourself whether this food is helping you move forward or keeping you stuck. If you still choose it, do it with awareness, not guilt or shame. Over time, as your body adjusts to cleaner, energizing food, your cravings change. What once felt like a reward now feels like a burden. You start to crave what makes you feel strong, not what comforts you temporarily. Planning your meals ahead of time removes the pressure of last-minute decisions and makes it easier to stick to your goals. Prepare ingredients in bulk. Have healthy snacks available. Keep water near you at all times. Simplify your food system so that good choices are the easiest ones. Remove the friction. The more effortless your healthy habits become, the more likely you are to stay consistent, especially when life gets busy or stressful. Sleep, movement, and nutrition work together. When one is off, the others suffer. When they're in sync, you feel powerful, focused, and emotionally centered. Upgrading your nutrition helps you sleep better, and better sleep improves your ability to choose good food. Moving your body regularly keeps your metabolism active and sharpens your hunger signals. The connection between food, body, and mind is not just biological, it's personal. The more you respect your body, the more your body supports the life you want to live. Sometimes, upgrading your food choices means breaking away from your past. Maybe you grew up around unhealthy habits. Maybe you were taught that convenience is more important than quality. Maybe you never learned how to cook, plan, or think critically about food. That's okay. Growth begins when you're willing to do something different. Learn, experiment. Be curious. Be willing to ask questions and seek better answers. You're not expected to know everything, but you are responsible for learning what supports your health and well-being. Your environment affects your food decisions more than you might realize. If your kitchen is full of processed snacks, you'll eat them. If your fridge is stocked with fresh options, you'll use them. Create a space that makes your future self proud. Keep the things that energize you within reach, and remove the things that make you feel stuck. This isn't about perfection, it's about alignment. Your space should reflect your commitment to progress. Progress with food is not about chasing a perfect body. It's about building a powerful life. When you eat with intention, you think more clearly, make stronger decisions, feel less stressed, and recover faster. You show up for your work, your relationships, and yourself with more energy and presence. This is not just physical fuel, it's emotional fuel, mental fuel, and long-term resilience. You deserve that level of care. If you've struggled with consistency, start now. Don't wait for a Monday or a new month. Choose one habit you can change today. Maybe it's drinking more water, cooking one meal from scratch, or swapping a processed snack for something nourishing. These are not small things, they are shifts that accumulate. Over weeks and months, they change how you feel, how you think, and how you act, and they prove to you that you are not stuck. You are capable of better choices. Fueling your body is not about control, it's about support. When you eat like someone who values their future, your actions begin to match your vision. You feel stronger, clearer, and more confident. You stop using food to escape and start using it to elevate. That shift creates momentum that touches every part of your life. Your energy is your responsibility. Your health is your foundation. Your food is your fuel. Choose it with intention, prepare it with care, and use it to power the progress you know you're capable of. You are not just eating to survive. You are eating to thrive. Fuel yourself like you matter, because you do. Chapter 15. Challenge your excuses before they become your limits. Most limits in life are not set by the world around you. They are built by the thoughts you repeat and the excuses you choose to believe. Excuses feel safe. They protect you from discomfort, failure, and the unknown. But over time, those same excuses turn into barriers that keep you small, quiet, and afraid to try. What starts as a reason becomes a routine. What begins as a hesitation becomes a habit. The more often you accept your own excuses, the harder it becomes to grow beyond them. And if you're not careful, those small justifications start writing the story of your life. That's why you must learn to challenge every excuse before it becomes your new reality. Excuses are often disguised as logic. They sound reasonable. They tell you you're too tired, too late, too behind, or not ready. They tell you that you'll do it tomorrow, or when life is less chaotic, or when you feel more confident. But there's always another tomorrow. There's always a reason to wait. And if you don't challenge that voice inside you that keeps saying not yet, you'll stay in the same place year after year while time keeps moving forward. You can either feed your excuses or feed your progress, but you can't do both. Every time you say I can't, I'm not ready, or it's too hard, you're handing your power over to a story that may not even be true. Growth requires questioning that story. Ask yourself, is this actually a fact, or is this just fear speaking? Most of the time, what you're calling a limitation is just a feeling you haven't investigated. You have to look at your own reasoning with honesty and ask, does this help me move forward, or is it holding me back? Your mind is smart. It wants to keep you comfortable and safe. That's why it creates excuses that are hard to spot. They're not always loud or dramatic. Sometimes they're quiet and sneaky. They show up as procrastination, overthinking, or waiting for perfect timing. But the perfect time never comes, and the longer you wait, the more distant your goals begin to feel. If you want to rise above the noise of hesitation, you have to be stronger than your first impulse. You have to respond with action, not delay. You don't need motivation to begin, you need movement. Waiting to feel ready is one of the most common excuses in the world. You don't need to feel ready, you need to show up anyway. Growth comes from doing things before you feel fully confident, because confidence is built through repetition and experience, not through waiting in fear. The most successful people are not the ones with fewer doubts, they are the ones who move forward despite them. One way to weaken an excuse is to trace it back to its root. Where did it come from? Who taught you that you weren't capable? What failure from the past are you still carrying? What are you really afraid of? Most excuses are driven by fear. Fear of judgment, fear of discomfort, fear of not being good enough. When you expose that fear to light, it loses power. When you see it clearly, you realize you're not trapped. You're simply uncomfortable, and discomfort is something you can survive. When you catch yourself making an excuse, pause. Don't argue with it or fight it. Just notice it. Say it out loud. Write it down. Then ask, is this moving me toward the life I want, or away from? That one question brings your awareness back to your values. It reminds you that progress is more important than comfort. It reminds you that your time is limited, and that every day spent defending your excuses is a day taken from your growth. There is always another choice. You don't have to accept the first thought that comes to mind. You don't have to accept the story that says you can't. You don't have to surrender to your limits. You can choose again. You can ask yourself, what's one small step I can take anyway? Even if it's just 5 minutes. Even if it's just starting, even if it's imperfect, that decision creates motion. And motion breaks the grip of excuse. Excuses become limits only when they go unchallenged. But when you meet them with action, they lose their hold. You become someone who no longer accepts the easy way out. You become someone who demands more from yourself. Not out of pressure, but out of belief in your potential. That belief must become your standard. You don't wait for outside permission to grow. You decide to stop listening to the voice that tells you to settle for less. Sometimes, excuses come from a place of burnout. If you are constantly exhausted, overwhelmed, or running on empty, your mind will find every reason to avoid action. That's not weakness. That's a signal. You may not need to push harder. You may need to rest smarter. But rest is not the same as retreat. Recovery is not the same as giving up. Take care of your body, your energy, and your peace. But don't use tiredness as a way to avoid showing up. Learn to rest without quitting. Accountability helps break the excuse cycle. When you share your goals with someone who believes in you and challenges your limits, you're more likely to follow through. Find someone who pushes you to rise, not someone who agrees with your excuses. Be that person for yourself too. Hold your own standards. Keep your word. If you say you'll do something, treat that as a commitment, not a suggestion. You owe that to yourself. Your excuses are not your identity. Stop saying, "That's just how I am." You are not your delay. You are not your fear. You are not your hesitation. You are the one who notices it, questions it, and grows past it. You are capable of changing your patterns, even the ones that have followed you for years. All it takes is a decision to stop believing the story that says you're not ready, not smart enough, or not capable. You are, and every time you challenge an excuse, you prove it. Remember that excuses thrive in silence. If you don't talk about them, if you don't write them down, if you don't name them, they grow stronger in the dark. Shine light on them. Make them visible. Once they are visible, they are vulnerable. And once they are vulnerable, they can be replaced with action, clarity, and progress. Progress is built on the other side of resistance. You won't always feel like doing the work. You won't always feel brave or excited or prepared. That doesn't matter. What matters is that you don't let your excuses speak louder than your values. What matters is that you decide to take the next step, even when your mind offers you a dozen reasons not to. That's how you grow. That's how you move forward. That's how you build a life that reflects your true strength. You are responsible for your results. You are responsible for the life you create. Every day, you have a choice to move with your excuses or to move with your potential. That choice shapes your future. Make it count. Choose to challenge the excuses. Choose to rise. Choose to build a life without limit. Chapter 16. Celebrate your wins. To reinforce daily self-belief. Most people wait for something massive to happen before they let themselves feel proud. They wait for the big achievement, the final goal, the recognition from others. But real growth is built through the small wins, the decisions you made when no one was watching, the effort you gave when it wasn't easy, the progress that's invisible to everyone else but life-changing for you. Every step forward, no matter how small, deserves your recognition. When you take time to notice and celebrate what you've done right, you train your mind to believe in you. You give yourself evidence that you're moving forward. You build trust in your ability to show up and do what needs to be done. And that trust is the foundation of unshakable self-belief. People often ignore their progress because they compare it to someone else's, or because it doesn't feel big enough. But the size of your win doesn't matter. What matters is the discipline behind it. What matters is that you followed through, even when you could have chosen comfort. If you want to grow your belief in yourself, you need to acknowledge your own effort. You need to stop moving so fast that you miss what you've already accomplished. Self-belief isn't something you find, it's something you build. And one of the fastest ways to build it is by noticing your wins daily. That might mean writing them down at the end of the day. It might mean pausing for a moment of gratitude when you make a better decision. It might mean rewarding yourself when you complete a goal you once thought was out of reach. These small acknowledgements reinforce your growth. They tell your brain, this matters, this is who I am now. Celebrating wins doesn't mean bragging. It doesn't mean pretending to be perfect. It means giving yourself credit for your effort. It means recognizing that the old version of you might have quit, but you didn't. The old version might have made excuses, but you showed up anyway. That matters. That's progress. And when you celebrate it, you strengthen it. You tell your subconscious that this is worth repeating. And slowly, those repeated efforts become part of who you are. Without recognition, your progress can feel invisible. You might start to believe that nothing is changing, even when it is. You might feel like you're stuck, even when you're moving forward. That's what happens when you only focus on what's left to do and never look back at what you've already done. Growth is not just forward motion, it's reflection. You need both. You need to look back sometimes, not to stay there, but to see how far you've come. Self-belief is reinforced every time you follow through on a promise to yourself. But if you never stop to notice that you kept the promise, you miss the chance to build that belief. You miss the opportunity to tell yourself, I did that. I said I would, and I did. That moment matters. It creates a shift inside you. It makes the next promise easier to keep. It makes the next step easier to take. Progress builds belief, but only if you recognize it. Your brain responds to what you reward. If you only respond to mistakes, you'll reinforce self-criticism. If you only speak up when you fail, you'll train your mind to focus on flaws. But if you learn to notice what's working, you'll create momentum. You'll begin to expect progress. You'll believe that you are capable of more because you'll have proof in your own actions. That belief doesn't come from outside. It grows from within. One moment at a time. Make it a daily practice to notice your effort. Did you wake up on time? Did you make a better food choice? Did you focus when your mind wanted to wander? Did you speak kindly to yourself when things went wrong? These are wins. They are signs that you are changing. Don't wait for someone else to notice. Don't wait for a finish line. See yourself now. Honor your effort now. That practice builds a resilient confidence that doesn't break under pressure. When you celebrate your wins, you also make your journey more enjoyable. You stop making growth feel like punishment. You stop treating progress like a grind. You begin to see it as a reward in itself. That shift in mindset makes it easier to stay consistent. It makes the hard days feel meaningful. It reminds you that you're not just working for some future version of success, you're growing into the kind of person who lives with self-respect right now. Even small wins change you. Getting out of bed when you don't feel like it is a win. Saying no to something that drains your energy is a win. Speaking up when you used to stay silent is a win. Pushing through discomfort to do the work is a win. Staying calm in a moment that used to trigger you is a win. These moments are quiet, but they are powerful. And when you notice them, you strengthen the belief that you are capable of changing anything. The habit of celebrating yourself is not about ego, it's about emotional balance. Most people are hard on themselves by default. They criticize every slip, judge every mistake, and hold on to guilt for days. But when it comes to recognizing what they've done right, they stay silent. That imbalance breaks self-belief. It makes you feel like you're always behind, never good enough, never doing enough. The truth is, you're doing more than you realize, and when you start honoring your progress, you begin to heal that imbalance. This kind of reflection doesn't take long. It's not about spending hours in front of a mirror. It's about taking a few minutes at the end of each day to ask, what did I do well today? It's about starting your morning by remembering that you've already survived and overcome things you once thought you could. It's about collecting evidence that you are stronger, wiser, and more consistent than your fears suggest. If you've spent years ignoring your progress, this will feel new. You might feel like you don't deserve it yet. But that's just a story you've repeated. And it's time to write a new one. The new story says, I am proud of the person I'm becoming. The new story says, my effort matters. The new story says, I believe in myself because I've earned that belief. You earn it by showing up. You strengthen it by celebrating that you showed up. Self-belief is not something you wait for. It's something you work for. It grows when you keep promises. It grows when you act with discipline. It grows when you notice that you are doing hard things and staying committed even when it's uncomfortable. That growth deserves your attention. It deserves your recognition. And it deserves your respect. You don't need to post your wins online. You don't need a crowd cheering for you. You need one voice. Your own. That says, I'm proud of that. That one voice can change your life. It can carry you through self-doubt. It can lift you on the days when everything feels heavy. It can remind you why you started and how far you've already come. You are not the same person you were a year ago. You are not the same person you were even a few weeks ago. If you've been doing the work, you have already grown, and that growth is worth noticing. That effort is worth celebrating. That progress is worth building on. Keep going. Keep noticing. Keep believing. You are becoming exactly who you need to be. One win at a time. Chapter 17. Unplug from noise and sit with your truth. You are surrounded by distractions that pull you away from yourself. Screens glow from the moment you wake up until the moment you fall asleep. Notifications, updates, endless scrolling, constant opinions, they all fill your mind before you even know what you think or feel. The world moves fast, and if you're not careful, you get swept into the noise without ever stopping to check in with yourself. This noise is loud, but it's not honest. It keeps you busy, but it doesn't bring you peace. To live clearly, you must be willing to step back from all of it. You must unplug from the external and reconnect with what's real inside you. The truth of your life doesn't come from outside validation. It doesn't come from what other people think or say. It lives in the silence between distractions. It lives in the quiet space where no one is watching and nothing is performing. That space is where your real self lives. But most people never visit that place. They fill every moment with something: music, podcasts, messages, videos, noise, to avoid sitting alone with their own mind. But growth demands honesty, and honesty requires silence. When you unplug from noise, you give yourself a chance to remember who you are without the world's influence. You stop reacting to every thought and start observing what's really there. You begin to notice the fears you've ignored, the desires you've buried, and the questions you've been too distracted to answer. This is not easy. It's uncomfortable at first. But clarity never comes through comfort. It comes through facing what's real without escape. Sitting with your truth means making space for reflection. It means putting your phone down, turning off the background noise, and letting yourself feel what's actually happening inside. Not what you should feel, not what you think others expect, but what's actually there. Sadness, confusion, uncertainty, excitement, purpose, whatever it is, it's yours, and it deserves your attention. When you create time to sit with yourself, you learn what you truly need, not what you've been told to chase. This process doesn't require hours. Even a few minutes of intentional silence each day can make a difference. You might feel restless at first. That's normal. You're breaking a habit of overstimulation. But if you stay with it, the restlessness fades, and you begin to hear your own thoughts more clearly. You begin to notice which thoughts come from pressure, and which ones come from wisdom. You begin to separate what's urgent from what's important. Many of the problems people feel stuck in are not actually caused by lack of knowledge. They are caused by lack of connection to their own inner world. You already have insight inside you, but it gets buried under the constant stream of input. You don't need more noise, you need space. You don't need more content, You need presence. You don't need more opinions. You need your own voice, and that voice becomes louder when everything else becomes quieter. Unplugging's noise is not just about technology, it's also about mental clutter. Overthinking, worry, assumptions, comparisons, all of it fills your mind and leaves no room for stillness. You need time where you are not consuming, or planning, or escaping. You need time where you are simply being. This is where your nervous system resets. This is where your mind finds rest. This is where your heart has room to speak. When you sit with your truth, you might realize that some of your goals don't belong to you. You might realize that some of your habits are rooted in fear. You might realize that some of your relationships are draining you. These are hard realizations, but they are also freeing, because once you see them clearly, you can change them. But if you never stop long enough to notice, you'll keep repeating patterns that don't match the life you actually want. Clarity doesn't come from consuming more. It comes from creating space for what's already inside you to surface. Your truth isn't hiding. It's just waiting for you to make time for it. That truth may not be easy, but it will be honest. And when you are honest with yourself, you stop needing approval from everyone else. You stop chasing what doesn't fit. You stop apologizing for wanting something different. You begin to walk your own path with quiet confidence. There is power in choosing silence. It's not weakness. It's not emptiness. It's not passivity. It's a decision to hear what matters most. It's a decision to lead yourself instead of being led by noise. When you unplug, you become more intentional with your time, your energy, and your attention. You begin to see how much of your focus has been stolen by things that don't add value, and you start taking that focus back. You will never hear your deepest wisdom in a crowded room. You won't find it in the endless feed of other people's lives. You won't discover it while constantly multitasking. You find it when everything else is quiet. That's where your clarity lives. That's where your peace begins. That's where your power returns. This doesn't mean cutting yourself off from the world. It means choosing when and how you engage with it. It means deciding what gets your attention and what doesn't. It means knowing when to tune in and when to step back. It means creating a life where silence is not empty, it's full of meaning. Some of the best decisions you'll ever make will come from moments of stillness. Some of the strongest boundaries you'll ever set will come from time spent listening to your own needs. Some of the most creative ideas you'll ever have will rise from the space you made when you stopped chasing and started being. You don't need to do more, you need to listen more. Not to others, to yourself. Start small. Choose one part of your day where you turn everything off. No phone, no music, no talking, just you and the present moment. Use that time to breathe, to reflect, to reconnect. Ask yourself what you need. Ask yourself what you're avoiding. Ask yourself what matters most right now. You don't need answers right away. You just need the courage to be present with the questions. The world will keep moving. The noise will never stop unless you choose to step out of it. But when you do, you'll find something more valuable than any distraction. You'll find your center. You'll find your truth. And from that place, you can begin to build a life that feels whole, not just busy, not just productive, but deeply true. There is wisdom inside you that only silence can reach. There is clarity that only stillness can reveal. There is peace that only solitude can provide. Create space for that. Unplug from the noise. Return to yourself. Sit with your truth until it becomes stronger than everything trying to pull you away from it. That is how you begin to live, fully awake, fully aligned and fully alive. Chapter 18. Learn from failure and use it to grow. Failure is not the end of growth. It's the beginning of clarity. When things don't go the way you planned, when your efforts fall short, when you try and it doesn't work, that moment holds more value than you might realize. Most people run from failure because it's uncomfortable, but discomfort is where truth lives. When you fail, you are handed a mirror. That mirror shows you what needs to change, what needs to improve, and where you must grow stronger. Without it, you would keep repeating the same patterns without understanding why they don't work. Failure doesn't mean you're not good enough. It means you've been given data, and the faster you use that data, the faster you evolve. People often treat failure as something personal. They see it as a reflection of their worth, their identity, their intelligence. But failure is not who you are. It's an event. It's an experience. It's a message, not a judgment. And if you want to become the person you're meant to be, you must stop hiding from failure and start learning from it. Growth demands review. Progress requires awareness, and the best teacher you'll ever have is the moment things didn't go as expected. Each time you fail, you are given a choice. You can shut down or you can step back. You can quit or you can question. Ask yourself why it didn't work. Ask yourself what decision led to that result. Ask yourself what lesson is hidden in the disappointment. The more honest you are with your review, the stronger your next attempt will be. Because growth is not built by doing everything right. It's built by doing things wrong and adjusting based on what you learned. You don't need to fear failure. You need to respect it. You need to see it as a part of your evolution. You need to stop expecting perfection and start expecting to refine. Every goal worth pursuing will involve misstep. Every path of growth will involve frustration. That's not a problem, that's a process. You are not falling behind just because something went wrong. You are learning what works for you. You are becoming someone who can handle pressure. You are becoming someone who doesn't fold when things are hard. When you begin to accept failure as feedback, you stop wasting time in self-pity. You stop beating yourself up for not getting it right the first time. You stop seeing setbacks as evidence that you're incapable. Instead, you see them as checkpoints. You pause, you reflect, you adapt, and you move forward with more clarity than before. That mindset is what separates those who stay stuck from those who break through. Failure reveals your blind spots. It shows you where you've been avoiding responsibility. It shows you what assumptions are limiting your decisions. It shows you how strong your commitment really is. When everything is going well, it's easy to stay motivated, but when things fall apart, that's when your real growth begins. That's when you either fold or rise. That's when you either run or rebuild. And every time you choose to rebuild, you strengthen your inner foundation. Don't try to avoid failure. Try to extract meaning from it. Write about it. Ask yourself what it exposed. Ask yourself how you would approach the same challenge differently. Ask yourself what you missed the first time. This is not about dwelling in regret. It's about converting pain into wisdom. It's about using the hard moment to prepare for a better one. The lesson you avoid now will repeat itself later. So face it now, feel it, learn from it. Let it teach you how to grow better. Some of your greatest strengths will be shaped by the failures you didn't expect. That relationship that didn't work out taught you what you value. That project that collapsed taught you how to plan better. That risk that didn't pay off taught you how to handle disappointment without breaking. None of it was wasted if you choose to take something from it. The only real loss is when you walk away unchanged. Don't walk away unchanged. Use every failure as a tool to sharpen your character and build your resilience. You don't need to pretend failure feels good. You just need to know it's not final. It stings. It shakes your confidence. It makes you question your path. But that moment will pass, and what stays with you is the strength you earn by getting back up. You don't have to feel confident to move forward. You just need to be willing. The next step is always waiting for your courage, not your comfort. Your future self is shaped by how you respond to the moments that didn't go your way. Will you use them as excuses to stop trying, or will you use them as fuel to try differently? Will you let failure define your limits, or will you let it stretch your potential? The answer is always yours, and the more often you choose to grow, the more unstoppable you become. Growth doesn't come from repeating what you already know. It comes from stepping into the unknown and being willing to fail. It comes from trusting that every step, even the wrong one, is part of building something better. It comes from seeing yourself not as a finished product, but as a work in progress. That mindset keeps you open. It keeps you moving forward, even when things feel messy. You are allowed to fail. You are allowed to fall short. You are allowed to make mistakes. What matters most is how you handle it. Do you give up or do you grow up? Do you shut down or do you show up again with a wiser heart and a clearer mind? Failure invites you to grow. It invites you to rise. It invites you to become more than who you were before. When you fail, don't rush to escape the feeling. Sit with it. Understand it. Let it show you what you haven't been willing to face. Let it reveal your true values. Let it teach you something about your limits and how to break them. You are not weak because you failed. You are human. You are not broken. You are learning, and every lesson brings you closer to the person you're becoming. You're not here to do everything perfectly. You're here to grow. You're here to improve. You're here to challenge your old limits and create a new standard for yourself. That journey will not be smooth. It will not be easy, but it will be worth it. And every time you use failure as a stepping stone instead of a stop sign, you reinforce your power to evolve. Start asking yourself better questions. What can I learn from this? What did I expect that wasn't realistic? Where did I ignore my instincts? What would I do differently now? These questions turn failure into strategy. They turn discomfort into growth. They turn uncertainty into wisdom. That is how you build a life based on awareness, not avoidance. You don't grow from avoiding failure. You grow from facing it with honesty, from extracting every lesson you can, and from stepping forward with more understanding than before. That is how you create depth in your mindset and strength in your actions. That is how you build a life you are proud of, not by avoiding all the hard parts, but by learning from every one of them. Chapter 19. Push yourself daily to become more mentally strong. Mental strength is not something you are born with. It is built, shaped, and earned through effort, through practice, and through choices you make every single day. To become mentally strong, you need to train your mind the way others train their body. You must push past your comfort zone, confront your excuses, and make yourself show up when everything inside you wants to quit. Mental strength is not loud or flashy. It's not about pretending to be fearless or acting like things don't bother you. It's about doing what needs to be done, even when it's difficult. It's about taking responsibility for your reactions and refusing to let circumstances control your mindset. Strength of mind is something that grows only when you stop avoiding struggle and start leaning into it. There will always be moments when you don't feel like doing the work. When your energy is low, when your motivation disappears, when you start questioning whether it even matters, those moments are the real training ground. That's where discipline begins. That's where you choose whether you lead your emotions or let them lead you. The ability to take action when it's hard, to keep your word to yourself when no one else is watching. That's where your mental strength is either built or broken. Most people wait to feel ready, but mental strength is not about waiting to feel anything. It's about choosing the right action regardless of your emotional state. To become stronger mentally, you must challenge your limits every day, not in extreme ways, but in consistent and deliberate ways. Wake up a little earlier than you want to. Do the task you've been avoiding. Sit with your discomfort instead of escaping it. Speak the truth even when it's uncomfortable. Keep going when results are delayed. These small decisions, repeated daily, build a type of quiet confidence that nothing else can replace. Each time you push yourself, you send a message to your mind. I am capable. I don't quit. I am in control of my actions. That message matters more than any temporary comfort. Mental strength also requires boundaries. You cannot grow stronger if you allow distractions to run your life. You must learn to say no to the things that steal your focus and drain your energy. You must protect your time, your peace and your attention like they are sacred. Because they are. Every time you give them away to something unimportant, you weaken your ability to stay consistent, and consistency is everything. You can't build strength without it. Motivation comes and goes, but discipline creates progress, and the more consistent you become, the more confident you grow. The more confident you grow, the more confident you grow, the more pressure you can handle without falling apart. Another part of mental strength is how you talk to yourself. Your inner voice matters. If you tear yourself down every time you struggle, you will never trust yourself enough to keep going. You don't need to lie to yourself, but you do need to be honest in a way that lifts you instead of breaking you. Say what's true without being cruel. Remind yourself that struggle doesn't mean failure, that slow progress is still progress, that falling short doesn't mean you're not growing. The way you speak to yourself in moments of pressure determines how quickly you bounce back from setbacks. A mentally strong person doesn't pretend everything is easy. They remind themselves they can handle what's hard. Pushing yourself daily also means doing things that stretch your identity. If you want to become someone different, you have to behave differently. You can't keep acting like the person you used to be and expect to grow. That means stepping into situations that challenge you. It means doing things that intimidate you. It means choosing courage over comfort when the easy path calls your name. You don't become mentally strong by staying safe. You become mentally strong by doing what's hard until it becomes normal. And once it becomes normal, you level up again. Growth is a constant process of stepping into difficulty, adjusting to it, and then seeking the next challenge. Mental strength also includes emotional control. That doesn't mean ignoring your feelings. It means not letting them control your choices. You feel frustration, but you don't lash out. You feel fear, but you still take the next step. You feel tired, but you don't break your promise to yourself. This kind of control isn't about suppressing emotions. It's about processing them without becoming them. When you learn how to feel without reacting impulsively, you gain power over your decisions, and power over your decisions is the core of mental strength. To grow stronger mentally, you must stop being a victim of your circumstances. Life is unfair. People will misunderstand you, obstacles will appear, plans will fall apart, but your response to all of it is what defines your strength. Do you complain or do you adjust? Do you collapse or do you adapt? The more you choose response over reaction, the more power you gain. Every day is a chance to strengthen that ability. No moment is too small. Whether it's how you handle a delayed schedule, how you respond to criticism, or how you manage your own thoughts, every situation is a test of your inner strength. Pushing yourself daily also means doing the boring things. Mental strength is not built through excitement, it's built through repetition. The discipline to do the simple things with focus, day after day, even when they're no longer exciting, that's what separates those who grow from those who stay stuck. Anyone can show up once, Very few can show up every day without needing to feel inspired. Mental strength grows in those who do the work without asking for permission or applause. You also build strength by owning your choices. Stop blaming other people. Stop waiting for the perfect time. Stop avoiding what needs to be done. When you take full ownership of your actions and results, you eliminate excuses. That kind of honesty is not easy, but it is necessary. You cannot grow stronger while holding on to blame. Let it go. Own where you are. Own what you're doing. Own what you need to change. That ownership is the beginning of transformation. Being mentally strong doesn't mean you never struggle. It means you keep showing up through the struggle. It means you make the hard decision instead of the easy one. It means you keep your promises to yourself even when nobody would know if you quit. It means you face the truth instead of running from it. That's what makes you strong, not the absence of weakness, but the presence of courage. Every single day gives you a new chance to grow stronger. It doesn't have to be dramatic. It just has to be deliberate. Wake up with purpose. Do the things that move you forward. Protect your focus. Challenge your excuses. Speak to yourself with clarity. And when the day is done, reflect on where you showed up and where you didn't. That's how strength is built. Through awareness, through action, through repetition, and through the willingness to keep pushing even when it's not easy. The world will try to distract you. Life will test you. Doubt will whisper. But none of that can stop you unless you stop pushing. So don't. Keep going, keep building, keep doing the small things that no one sees, because that's where real strength grows. Quietly, steadily, daily, until nothing can shake what you've built inside. Chapter 20. Commit fully to improving you without any guilt. You are not selfish for putting yourself first. You are not wrong for wanting to grow. You are not a bad person for saying, I need to focus on me right now. For too long, people have been told that self-improvement must come with guilt. That wanting more for yourself means you're abandoning others. That taking time to heal, to upgrade your life, or to build discipline somehow makes you less available, less kind, less caring. But here's the truth. When you don't improve yourself, everyone around you suffers. When you stay the same out of guilt, you shrink, you suppress your potential, and you slowly become resentful. That's not noble, that's not generous, that's self-betrayal. You are allowed to want more. You are allowed to grow out of your old patterns. You are allowed to create a life that feels right for you, even if no one understands it. Growth is not a betrayal, it's a responsibility. You are responsible for using what you've been given to the best of your ability. And when you hold back because you're afraid someone might not approve, you're wasting time you can't get back. Guilt has no place in the journey of becoming your best self. Because guilt is not the same as love. Guilt holds you hostage. Growth sets you free. Committing to yourself means showing up daily with the intention to become more honest, more capable, more grounded, more aware. It means choosing yourself even when others try to make you feel bad about it. It means refusing to shrink just to fit the version of you that people are more comfortable with. You don't owe anyone your old habits. You don't owe anyone the weaker version of yourself that they got used to. You owe yourself the chance to evolve. You owe yourself the opportunity to become clear, focused, healthy, and aligned. There will be people who don't understand. Some will think you've changed too much. Others will say you've become distant. But that's because they're used to the version of you who gave everything and left nothing for yourself. The version who said yes to things that drained you. The version who ignored your own needs to keep the peace. That version wasn't your highest self. It was your coping self. And now that you're outgrowing those patterns, people might feel uncomfortable. Let them. That discomfort isn't your burden. Their expectations are not your prison. You are not here to live small for the sake of their comfort. You are not abandoning anyone by choosing to grow. You are choosing to stop abandoning yourself. And that shift will feel unfamiliar at first. You might feel guilty. You might feel selfish. You might question whether you're doing the right thing. But don't confuse unfamiliar with wrong. Anything new will feel strange in the beginning, but that doesn't mean it's not necessary. When you commit fully to your own improvement, you begin to see how much more stable and supportive you can be to others, not from a place of exhaustion or obligation, but from a place of strength. Every decision to grow requires sacrifice. Not everything can come with you into your next level. Some relationships won't fit. Some habits will need to be replaced. Some priorities will shift. That is not failure. That is alignment. You can't build something new on a foundation that wasn't built for it. So when you feel guilt pulling at you, pause and ask yourself, is this guilt protecting me, or is it limiting me? More often than not, guilt is the voice of old conditioning, trying to keep you stuck in a life that no longer reflects your truth. There is nothing wrong with becoming more of who you are. There is nothing wrong with wanting to be better than you were yesterday. That desire is natural. That desire is needed. The world doesn't benefit from your guilt. It benefits from your growth. It benefits from your clarity. It benefits from your courage. The more you commit to becoming your strongest self, the more impact you can make. Not just in your life, but in the lives of others. But that only happens when you stop apologizing for evolving. Stop waiting for permission to take your growth seriously. Stop explaining why you're focused on yourself. Stop giving energy to people who expect you to stay stuck. You don't to make yourself smaller to keep others comfortable. You don't need to carry guilt for wanting to improve. You don't need to justify your discipline. The fact that you want more peace, more energy, more purpose, more strength, that's enough. That's reason enough to commit. That's reason enough to move forward. The best part is this. As you grow, you inspire others to do the same. When you take care of your mind, you show others it's possible. When you set boundaries, you show others it's healthy. When you choose progress over comfort, you show others what's possible with effort. Your commitment becomes a quiet permission for others to rise too. But that only happens when you go first. You cannot lead anyone by staying small. You cannot help anyone by refusing to help yourself. There will be moments where guilt tries to creep back in. When you say no to an invitation because you're focused on your goals, when you choose to rest instead of pleasing others, when you prioritize your mental health over being available to everyone. In those moments, remind yourself that this is not neglect. It is protection. It is necessary. You are not hurting others by protecting your energy. You are not wrong for needing space to grow. You are not broken for wanting to do things differently. This is your one life. Your time is limited. Your energy is finite. You cannot give it away freely without considering the cost. When you commit fully to improving yourself, you begin to use that energy with intention. You begin to spend your time with purpose. You begin to live in a way that feels aligned, not just acceptable. And that shift creates a ripple effect across every area of your life. Your health improves, your focus sharpens, your confidence grows, your relationships become more authentic. Because everything changes when you stop carrying guilt and start choosing growth. Don't wait until it's convenient. Don't wait until everyone agrees. Don't wait until you feel 100% ready. The longer you wait, the harder it becomes to reclaim that power. Start now. Choose one area of your life to upgrade. Be honest about what you need. Be consistent with your habits. Be kind to yourself in the process. And most importantly, don't apologize for doing it. Growth is your responsibility, not your excuse. If you've been waiting for a sign, this is it. If you've been doubting whether it's okay to focus on you, the answer is yes. You're not asking for too much. You're asking for what you deserve. A life of intention. A life of clarity. A life where your best self isn't buried under guilt and fear. You are allowed to rise. You are allowed to evolve. You are allowed to evolve. You are allowed to commit fully, deeply, unapologetically, to becoming everything you were meant to be. Without guilt, without shame, with full, unwavering ownership of your journey forward.